Hello, everybody. Welcome to another live Q&A. Blessed to be here with you. It's been a while since we've done one, but my schedule allowed for it today, and I was like, let's do this. So I'm super happy to get caught up with you guys outside of just the EBRT, and I'm blessed that you guys would join me. We got some really good conversation starters and comments on our Discord posted, so we're going to start with those. If you guys don't know what this is, it's just kind of like a general fellowship hangout, but I also like to answer questions, read comments. We have a Discord channel or page, whatever you want to call it. Discord calls it a channel or server, excuse me. And on there we have a like a graphic that we post letting everybody know there's going to be a live Q&A, and then people can post their comments, the questions, testimonies, which we have as well, and then they get shared live. As soon as those are done, then we're going to go ahead and move into the YouTube chat. Excuse me, the YouTube chat questions that are live as well. So yeah, so sit tight, relax. I know a lot of people are still logging on, tuning in, but I wanted to at least come on and say hello and let everybody know that I'm here. And you know, I'm late because I sat in traffic. I did not factor in the amount of traffic I would hit on the way home today in good old Nashville. The traffic here is getting real. It is not a joke anymore. Nashville traffic's getting real because everybody's moving here, which is a good thing, I think, but still. Patrick says, hello, brothers and sisters from Austria. Blessed to have you with us, Patrick. Also, love your comment. You're going to be kicking us off from the comments left on the Discord. Thank you for the comments you left. Eon Veteran says, hi, everyone from South Africa. Welcome, Eon. Eon Veteran, because we have another Eon. All right, so Patrick kicking us off. This is his comment he left on the graphic on Discord. My brothers and sisters, people know who I am. And if you're on here, you know who I am. All right, take my name tag off. My beautiful brothers and sisters, I feel like lots of our lives are literally falling apart right now. From what I hear and read, lots of us are struggling. For me, I know this is all about the Lord leading me away from people who just don't want to repent. Yeshua revealed himself to me 5 years ago when I was on the verge of suicide, absolutely hopeless, broken, down, and out. I always knew that I am blessed and always knew my family is absolutely destructive. The weird thing is, after he saved me, he sent me back to them with more knowledge, more wisdom, more patience, and most importantly, more love and grace than I could have ever imagined. Yes, he is so good. Right now, 5 years have passed. Some things have changed, but the destructive characteristics stay the same. I wanted to leave over and over, and yet still always told me to go back. Right now, I am sitting in my car. I'm practically homeless. My stuff is in a container I'm not able to pay the afford. Yet he is with me. He loves me. He guides me, and my heart is full of joy. First of all, I do want to thank each and everyone here for praying, fellowship, and all you do for the kingdom of God. I am writing this first and foremost because I know he will provide. I know he will come through. I know he is with me, as he always is. So I wanted to take a moment to bless you, my brothers and sisters. No matter what the circumstances, no matter the pain, the hate, the injustice we are under, he is with us. And he is the most loving, caring, and amazing Father we all could ever imagine. Keep your heads high. Keep your eyes on him. Keep shining his light in a world filled with darkness. I love you all from the bottom of my heart. Wherever you are, be blessed and be the blessing. Amen and hallelujah. Wow, thank you for that, brother. Lifting you up in your circumstances. It looks like you have a part 2. Let me read that before I continue. Right as I finished writing this, with tears running down my face, tears of joy, how amazing our Father is, I look out the window of my car, a little girl watching me from a window on the 3rd floor. I wave at her, she waved back at me, and gave me the most beautiful, innocent, and gorgeous smiles one could ever imagine. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, God is good, and we are his workmanship, always. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah, brother. Hallelujah. What a great testimony. Thanks for sharing that, brother. I'm praying for you and what you're going through and for what everybody's going through. I know the world is a crazy place right now. I know that things are hard. I know that the refinement fire is seemingly on full blast. I know it. I'm there with you. And I am I am praising the Lord with you as well. So I don't really know what more to say except that I'm grateful that you are part of this ministry and that you are part of this fellowship and that you have that kind of faith that as you're going through these hard times, you aren't throwing in the towel. You're not blaming God like he's a mean kid with a magnifying glass and we're a bunch of little ants that he's just frying for fun. I'm super grateful that the Lord has installed that level of faith and understanding in your heart. And I'm grateful for all the other people too who are going through it and keeping their chins up and their heads held high. It's a wonderful and inspiring thing that we all need to be reminded of, and it's important that we give these type of testimonies because there are people out there that, and there's moments out there where we all can get into those darker places where we begin to doubt or we begin to question or we just start to think bad things about ourselves. Like you said, you were suicidal but right before you came to know the Lord, you know. So thank you for having the courage and the love for us to share your testimony, because that's how I receive it. You indeed are blessing us. So thank you. And may the Lord continue to bless you. And I am believing for all your provisions as well. In Yeshua's name, amen. Katie Bullock, hello family. Crypto Noob 12, good morning. Good morning. Blessed to have you with us. All right, so our first quote unquote question is an interesting one, and it's probably going to chain reaction a whole bunch of conversation. Let me just see. Let me read the comments and replies to Patrick first. Sharon says, it's amazing how the Lord shows us something that touches the heart. I've had similar situations with a child smiling or a friendly dog may approach me. Sorry to hear what you're going through, but thanks for sharing your testimony, which shows the light in the darkness. Exactly. Sharon, I see you also have a question, but let me get to that in the order. Just reading and making sure that Eon Doreen also replied to you, Patrick. She says, I'm keeping you in prayers, Patrick. It's not an easy thing to go through with my family who can't see what they are doing and who seems to be stuck in their ways. Yeah, I feel like that's what the Latin word of family means. They who you're stuck with and are stuck in their ways. That's a joke, by the way. I'm pretty sure it doesn't mean that. All right, Evelyn, welcome as well. All right, Mr. Josh Blue posted on our Discord this question to kick us off today. I have a question. I don't exactly remember what the answer was. I know we spoke about this years ago. It's mainly about the Old Testament and how God seems to act differently then and act almost the opposite in the New Testament with Yeshua when Yeshua shows up. I was watching a video about how Christians today justify what's happening in the Middle East with the Old Testament. My question is this. With the people who wrote the Old Testament, Exodus and Numbers and all the books that talk about killing entire people, men, women, and children, even the livestock, did that actually happen? Was it all just hyperbole? Was it just the people back then were more brutal and espoused their ways onto God when that's not what he really wanted? Is this why he had to come down in the first place? The video I watched mentioned that the Exodus story didn't exactly happen as it was written. I didn't research this because I don't really know how. And even if I did, I'm not sure who is a reliable source. I can link the video, but I'm not sure if it will be watched. But here it is, and thanks. Mr. Quigley is the video channel, I think you say, Mr. Quigley. And it says, why did Yahweh harden Pharaoh's heart? It has a picture of like a hand. And it says, forced to sin. And it has like a animated cartoon figure of Pharaoh being puppeteered by the fingers. So I did watch it. I watched the whole thing just so that I could address it appropriately and discuss the fullness of this topic. Yeah, so a lot of people aren't going to see this video, so I'll do my best to reference the points that this gentleman makes. The first point I think is important is Mr. Quigley is actually quite personable. He's very entertaining, very likable, well-spoken. He's not trying to boast with super big words. He's not trying to show that he's some intellectual or theologian or anything like that, right? No, maybe a theologian of sort. But he kind of seems like an anti-theologian, right? So he talks about how he used to be in an evangelical church and grew up in an evangelical church and had beliefs of the Bible from his youth, but now he has different beliefs. In this particular video, he did not articulate his exactly what his beliefs are, but it's clear as heck he doesn't believe the Bible is true, at least not all of it. I think he thinks some of it is historical and other parts are, you know, hyperbole, which is exactly the word he used, which is where I think you got it, Josh. So, I mean, not that you didn't know the word, but he himself said, you know, this is hyperbole. So, and he said that it didn't happen. His whole argument is that this didn't happen, which is what Josh Blue is telling us, he said. So, here's what this guy says. He says that, and this is a fair argument that a lot of people make. Josh, I don't know if you're on. Are you on, Josh? I really wanted to ask you a question before I read your comment. I don't think you're probably on. I mean, there's enough people on here. You could be on. Josh, if you're on, say hello and say, yes, I'm here. But before I read, I'm going to stall for just a second while I give you that time. Who That Live says, thank you, Patrick. This speaks to the struggles that we just read in 1 Peter 2. He is also reminding me of empathy and love allows him to cut through the darkness. It's so hard, especially when the dust hasn't settled. You are here. Okay, great. Thanks, Josh. Christina, question where Simon... Okay, so hold your questions, Christina, because I'm going to read, and that's going to get lost. Just know I'm not going to read your question right now because I'm reading the comments that were left on the Discord first. And right now we're reading Josh's, but Christina, you're going to have to post again when I say we're going to go to the live questions, okay? So, Josh Blue, Azure744. Josh, have you read... the entire Bible, since you're in the chat? Have you read every single word of the Bible in order? A little bit of a pause here while we give him time. There's a 7-second delay. So after I ask him the question, I'm just kind of going to fill the dead airspace with things like I'm doing right now. So it gives him time to hear it and then gives him time to type a response. So Evelyn Perkins says, a lot of people don't believe the Bible is true. So much confusion. A lot of Christians, you know, are confused about what to believe in the Bible. You write his response, Josh's response says, I have, but it was a while ago. Okay. Okay, fair. So here's the thing. So I'm going to recap, and I don't want to put words in people's mouths. It's a short-ish video, much shorter than my videos, which is a compliment, by the way. I don't think that long videos are necessarily better. I think if you can make them shorter, that's great. But we cover a lot of stuff in my videos, so they usually tend to be quite long, multiple hours. In this video, in 27 minutes or so, this gentleman talks about how he basically makes an argument by using the cartoon version called, I don't know, the Disney cartoon version or Pixar's version of the Pharaoh and Moses and stuff, whatever that, Prince of Egypt, that's what it's called, Prince of Egypt. And he says how great of a cartoon it is, he loves watching it, which is weird. His faith must just be that he believes in God, maybe believes in Jesus, but doesn't believe in the totality of the Bible's truth. That might be, so he probably has like his own version of the faith, because I don't understand why anybody would want to watch the Prince of Egypt if they think the Bible is just a big bunch of hoopla. Maybe it's just pure entertainment. I don't know. So he starts off where the first half of the video is he uses the cartoon version and how it explains the story of Exodus and how it's very G-rated, whereas the biblical version is very NC-17 rated because it mentions death, annihilation of entire tribes and races, including men, women, children, and their animals. He talks about how there's rape. He talks about how there's sex slaves by the Hebrews, mind you, not just other tribes, right? But the Hebrews take slaves, sex slaves, after they come out of Egypt. That just seems a little bit like, that's kind of weird. And of course, that's not in the Disney cartoon, right? Also not in the Disney cartoon is the big question that is presented in this video, which is why it's called Forced to Sin. So the argument is that because of the phrase, God hardened their hearts. So there's multiple people, I think it's mentioned 22 times in the Old Testament, or at least in Exodus. Is it Exodus or the Torah? Well, it's mentioned 22 times to his reference in this video. So there's a lot of people that God hardened their hearts. And the theological debate here is that if God hardened a human being's heart, and then he punished them for the thing that they did against God or against God's people. So basically, they did wrong, but God hardened their heart, intentionally knew he was going to harden their hearts. It was part of his plan to harden their hearts, which is what he says about Pharaoh, which is all true and biblical. And he says, but then he punishes Pharaoh for the thing he does while his heart is hardened. Like, how does that seem fair? And then he says, and then one of the things about God is that he does these 10 plagues, right? The famous 10 plagues of Egypt. And he says, but God punishes the cattle and the animals. They're innocent. He punishes the children, right? Because he kills the firstborn, right? The Spirit of God moves throughout, the town or whatever, which is where Passover comes from. They put the blood on the post. None of the Hebrews' children die, but all the firstborn of the Egyptians' children die that night. And there are plagues and there's boils on people, and there's just a horrible experience for this 10 plague period. It happens to everybody, like nobody, the royalty, the peasants, everybody, they're all experiencing this, right? And his argument is that God is infinite in power, infinite in capabilities. Therefore, God could have just snapped his fingers, sneezed, doesn't even need to snap. What fingers does God have, right? He could have just sneezed, a godly sneeze, and teleported. He literally uses this example in the video. He says God could have just teleported the Hebrews to what is now called Israel, taken the Canaanites and teleported them somewhere else, and everybody would have been happy. Everything could have been kumbaya, and that would have been a good and gracious God. And he says specifically, he's like, I understand, like, Pharaoh, the leadership, that they were wrong. They did some things wrong, but then they kind of started to like repent a little bit, especially after Pharaoh's son dies. Not repent, but like felt sorrowful. So he was letting the Hebrews go, and he was letting them leave finally. But then God hardened his heart, and he says, now hold on a second. I changed my mind. Let's go after him and get him and kill them all. And so he's like, so he did like want to let them go, but then God hardened his heart more. And then God, kind of used that as a way to like kill them all with the water, covering them over and drowning them and all that kind of jazz, right? So he says that there were people that were killed that were innocent, and that the Egyptian children and women, that they were innocent. And that this doesn't seem like a loving God. This doesn't seem like the real deal. He's just saying like, this doesn't make sense to me, and this doesn't seem like a loving God. And so I don't think that this is how it happened. And he says, in fact, it didn't happen. This did not happen. And his major argument is the number that the Bible gives us of how many people, specifically Hebrews, who exodused out of Egypt was like over 2 million people. And he says there's no record of that. There's no signs of that. There's nobody says it's that many. And that's a super large amount of people. It would rival the rest of the numbers left behind in Egypt. So he's like that, like it's a very significant number. 2 million people back then is a very significant number. And he's like, there's no way that 2-point-something million people did this exodus. And he goes, and there's just no signs of that, which is a lie. There totally is signs of it. And it's super weird to me because this video seems like it was made recently. In fact, let me see when it was made. It was posted, what was it posted? 4 months ago. So there's plenty of artifacts that show the narrowest, shallowest part of the Red Sea does have chariots and coins and armament and swords and spears in a line in it. as if there were an army that had the ability to walk across it, and then a flood came and got them. And this archaeological discovery, this this aquatic archaeological discovery has been done by multiple people, especially now with all the modern technology. So for him to say that there's no sign of this is just super weird. Like, you can just Google and see pictures of this stuff. So it's super weird to me that he's saying there's no sign or there's nothing. Maybe there's nothing that can prove how many humans walked across that, but there's definitely signs that there was a legitimate parting of the sea, and there was definitely signs of an army that followed that Exodus behavior. Also, there are hieroglyphs. Wow, I cannot speak all of a sudden. That are in Egypt that mention the Hebrews. So even Egypt does have a hieroglyph that mentions and refers to the Hebrews. So there, everybody says there isn't, but there is. And so I don't understand these type of things, like why people, either he just didn't do the research, or here's the thing. He seems like when you come across a video like this where it seems like they did all the research and they are so confident in their conclusions that, especially when he's very easygoing, he's very charismatic, like, he doesn't seem to be trying to put up a front. He's not jerky in his behavior. He's not like, I hate Christians and I hate the Bible. He's very human. Like, he's just very normal guy, which is great and awesome. And he's just like, I got questions and I wanted to know about this and this is that and this is what I know because I have done the research. And he's like, they killed women and children. They annihilated entire tribes. They took slaves that were remaining, that were just the children, as sex slaves. The Bible even says they took them as sex slaves. Like, it tells us this. Like, so he presents it like, this is kind of like not sitting right with me, which is a fair way for anybody to hear what he's saying and receive it that way. And this is why the question I first asked Josh Blue, is if he had read the entire Bible, is that he's the one presenting me this video. I already know that Josh has read the entire Bible, and I'm asking him to prove a point. Josh has told me he's read the entire Bible, but that he has had struggles with remembering it, or remembering everything. Let's just face it. The Bible's kind of a long book. I mean, it's got a lot of words in it. So there's a lot to remember. But here's the thing that this guy ends on, right? With all these kind of points he's making and the way he's making the points, I mean, you would absolutely come to the same conclusion as him. This God of the Old Testament is a jerk. He's evil. He had infinite ways, being an infinite God who's sovereign, right? And omniscient. I don't know why I can't speak today. But he has the ability to do whatever he wants, whenever he wants. There's nothing that can stop him, okay? So so for him to choose 10 plagues, kill firstborns, kill all the animals, turn the water into blood, kill all the river animals, just totally destroy the society and boils on people and just like, all this horrible stuff, like frogs raining down. So he's killing let's say hundreds of thousands, if not millions of frogs. Like, how is that cool for the frogs? Like, if you're thinking to yourself, like, this is the God who we love, this is the God of Yeshua, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't connect. There's no dots that connect, right? Like, you're like, this is definitely more like this seems like when somebody tells that type of story, you think of it more as like maybe one of the Greek mythology gods, right? Who likes to like torture humans just to prove that he's a god, right? And the other point that he made was that, Pharaoh wasn't exactly against this God when he was first approached by Moses, but Moses shows up and he goes, hey, my God, Yahweh, not a God who's in the repertoire of gods of Egypt, a God the Pharaoh had never even heard of before. He goes, my God, Yahweh, is the one true God. And he's speaking to the Pharaoh who, according to their belief system, is some form of a manifestation of God force on earth, right? Like, even in the most diluted wording, right? An idea and ideology. He's some type of God force on earth. And so he's saying, my God is the greatest God in the world, the only really true God. And he says, let my people go. And if you don't, you'll pay for it. And he's like, who's your God? I don't even know your God. And he's like, oh, it's Yahweh. He's like, I've never even heard of him. Well, at the time, nobody had heard of him. Even Moses didn't know his name. Moses had to ask him, what's your name? I don't know who you are. So Moses shows up to the guy's house, and then he makes the reference, like, if some dude showed up to your house in a banana suit, and he just walked up to you and goes, my God, the banana God, the only really true God, says, you have to give me all your bananas in your house or I'm going to set your house on fire. Would you give the guy all your bananas? Or would you call the police and be like, yo, there's a crazy man on my doorstep? So he makes this analogy, which we can all relate to. Yeah, it's a little crazy, right? But God gives him wonders and signs. You know, he throws a stick on the ground and it turns into a snake. And for most of us reading the book, we'd be like, that's pretty impressive. I'm going to at least hear what you have to say. But when Moses does it, it's kind of like, I guess at the time, because Egypt was so full of magic, which the Bible does tell us, that the Pharaoh was kind of like, I mean, cool trick, but you said you're the only God. But my guys over here can do the same thing with their sticks. They can turn them into snakes too, right? So there's some stuff that, like, the guy leaves out, which I think is interesting because I feel like he's catering to atheists. I feel like he's catering to people who want to mock the Bible and mock God and just want to, like, come to the conclusion that the God of the Bible is clearly not the real creator of the world, because it just, nothing makes sense. And when you string together all these things, which is why, you know, Josh is asking this question about what this guy presented in the video, how come the God of the Old Testament doesn't match the God of the New Testament? I don't know what you're talking about. I've read the entire Bible straight through. I've read the Bible from the first word to the last multiple times, study it in the original language. We're doing an EBRT that's taken us over 7, almost 8 years to do. Those videos are all recorded. They're all there. Anybody can watch them for free anywhere right here on this YouTube channel, Yeshua Network on YouTube. And the God of the Old Testament is the exact same God of the New Testament. I see absolutely no change. And you're saying, oh, so the God of the New Testament would say, okay, go and just kill this entire group of people. Just go and kill, you know, this entire race of people, including the women, children, and animals. Yes, the God of the New Testament would absolutely say that if he hadn't given us Yeshua. 100% he would say that. In fact, it'd probably be even worse. It'd probably be the most scorched earth thing that has yet to have ever happened, something that we can't even fathom. And why do I say that this is the same New Testament, or the same God of the New Testament? Is because that's what he says he's going to do when Yeshua comes back in his full glory. He's going to scorch the earth so much that it's not even going to be the earth anymore. In fact, there's not going to even be water on earth anymore. He's going to scorch the earth so much that every single being that's left is going to lay dead on the ground, and he's going to leave them there. And he tells everybody else who's not dead, that's living with him and going to live on earth with him for 1,000 years, he says, leave the bodies where they are and let the birds pick them apart and eat them for food. So this is the New Testament Bible guy. This is the New Testament God. He's no different than the guy you're reading and this guy's referring to in the Old Testament. Everybody thinks that there's this kumbaya God of the New Testament. Wrong. This is where the fullness of ignorance is, like, so blatantly displayed, in my opinion, for anybody who actually reads the Bible. Mainstream Christianity, their movies especially, that are super cheesy and Hallmark style, make you think that just everything Yeshua and everything God is kumbaya. What they don't understand is that the total wrath of God is there. It just never reaches us because it falls on Yeshua. And so because it falls on Yeshua, Christianity has decided to not mention it anymore. They're just like, it's not there. There's no harm, no foul. We do all the sins in all the world, and look, we still go around, and we're still good, and we still smile, and everything is great, and God shines his light on us, and he rains down on us, and the plants grow on us, and everything is wonderful. See no wrath. Wrong. 100% wrong. There is wrath. is just getting absorbed by this guy named Yeshua, who's the Lamb of God. And people think, no, that was 2,000 years ago. Wrong again. Yeshua perpetually stands between us and the wrath that is ours. He totally stands in that wrath. But because we don't see it, we think it doesn't exist. And that's lack of knowledge. That's lack of truth. That's lack of reading the Bible. It's totally there. And Yeshua finally has his day where he goes, all right, I've drawn a line in the sand. The last sin is going to be at this moment, at this time. There will never be somebody who sins like this again. I'm going to come with my army, with my saints, and we're going to completely eradicate the entire world. The exact same way Yahweh of the Old Testament told the Hebrews to do to the other tribes. Exactly the same. The only difference is Yeshua's leading the charge. And when the one being that none of us can kill, can't destroy, is left standing, and his name is Lucifer or Satan, depending on what version you want to use, right? When that one being is left standing and none of us can take him down, Yeshua speaks a word and boom, he's locked up, pinned into a little demon hole, and for 1,000 years until he's released again at the end of the millennia. That's it. But everybody else gets absolutely destroyed, annihilated, killed, just exactly what God said. So when this guy or anybody says, well, this isn't the God of the New Testament, it drives me absolutely wild. Even in the part that I just said, if that was all you knew, and unfortunately for 99% of anybody who's watching this, that is all you know. So you're like, oh my God. So ironically enough, you're like, oh my God, the God of the Old Testament is still the God of the New Testament, and he still is like wrathful and angry and da-da-da-da-da-da. Yes. But the other part that people don't hear is the God that knew that he would be this wrathful because he's holy and because he cannot be associated with unholiness because he himself is holy. And because he created this world to be holy and righteous with him and be in fellowship with him who is perfect, we were designed and originally made to be in perfect harmony with him. But because of sin, we separated ourselves from him. If your child, who you love dearly, decided to, and you guys have a great relationship, and they just woke up one day and said, I think that I'm going to hit you in the genitalia area with a baseball bat and then leave and never talk to you again. How would that make you feel if they did it? Like they literally left the house after hitting you in the genitalia and then like just left, and they're like, you never saw them again. That's what sinning was for God. If you're sinning, he can no longer relate to you ever again. So his heart is broken. So he had two choices. He could sit there and just like not be in relationship ever again with his creation. He could kill it, start all over. But in his love and in his grace, he knew ahead of time that his creation would mess up, that they would sin. And why are they sinning? Because he gave them free will. And he knew that with free will and the little whispering snake in the ear, that eventually they're going to mess up. He even prophesizes it. He says, when you eat of the fruit of the tree of good and evil, the tree of knowledge, you will surely die. He doesn't say if, he says when. He's already telling them he knows they're going to. He pre-planned the bridge back to him. He pre-planned this whole thing. He is the one who takes his own wrath. So here's the crazy thing. This guy doesn't mention any of that. He talks about like the bad stuff, the disease, the plagues, the this and that. What a horrible God. Okay. But all those things were for what reason? He says that these people are innocent. He says the children are innocent, the wives are innocent, the people of Egypt, the people, not the Pharaoh, but the people of Egypt are innocent. What is he talking about? Like, what book did he read? What history is he talking about? They're innocent? First of all, nobody on earth is innocent except for one, and his name is Yeshua. And he's like, if he was watching this video right now, which he might do a reply, but what he might be doing is, what he might be thinking to himself is like, well, that's not what I mean. I mean, they're innocent according to the crimes that God is punishing Egypt for. Wrong. They're not innocent. Every person alive on earth at the time of Moses and Pharaoh were descendants of a guy named Noah. Noah and his little family were on a boat. And Noah was very, very, very clear about how to behave with God. And he made sure, and he lived long enough to make sure that the descendants of his children and his peoples all knew the truth about God. And he was sure to tell them what God had explained to him on how to behave and how to interact. And as he did, those tribes went out and they forgot. They chose not to listen to Noah. They chose to not believe the stories that they were hearing, just like people are doing now, just like people do today. And so eventually you get to this place called Egypt with multiple fake gods, pyramids identifying the humans as gods, so revered that the personal servants of these pharaohs, that when they died, their servants had to die and be buried with them. So human sacrifices. They worship Baal, which is like a version of Moloch, but not really, but it's another god where you had to sacrifice children. In the Noahide laws is what they're called. Basically the version of Ten Commandments kind of sort of given to Noah, but not like a breakdown bullet point system, but explained to Noah through relationship with God, right? The Noahide laws explain that you're not supposed to eat, you're not supposed to kill, you're not supposed to eat blood-filled meat and eat flesh. Well, the Egyptians did eat blood-filled meat. In fact, they thought that it gave them power, and they used it as a form of medicine. They did eat flesh, again, as a form of medicine. Not as a form of food, like, hey, everybody come over, have steaks and flesh. No, it was part of a medicine. But they consumed it, and they believed in its spiritual power to heal and also produce other spiritual enhancements, okay? They did sacrifice humans, and they did do idol worshiping to an infinite degree. I mean, that's the reason why people travel to Egypt to this day, is to see all the idol worshiping all over the walls, to see the story, to see the hieroglyphs, to see the culture. It was super idol worshiping. So then they go, oh yeah, but that was just the culture. Well, they're not supposed to do that. Nobody on earth is supposed to do that. And so God is cleaning up the mess. He let them know. And if you're just like, well, they didn't know. Yes, they did. The whole reason why the Jews were there in the first place was because of this guy named Joseph. And Joseph went and he talked to Pharaoh, and he told Pharaoh things. And Pharaoh's like, you're the man. Your God is the real deal. You're the bee's knees. I'm giving you my ring. When I'm not around, you are me. And Joseph made sure that Joseph made sure that everybody in his family line and in his people understood the truth of their God. And Egypt included their stories into their God system. So we know for a fact, in fact, most people reverse it. Most people say that the Jews absorbed the storyline of Mary and of Virgin Mary and giving birth to the Messiah, that they took that idea from the Egyptians. Wrong. The Egyptians took it from them and they put it on their hieroglyphs. And one of the pharaohs was like, this is me. I'm that guy. I'm the special one. And they wrote it on the thing. They got that from Joseph. This whole thing stems all the way back to Adam and Eve in the garden. So this gentleman leaves out all that stuff. He doesn't mention any of that. He doesn't mention the Noahide laws. He doesn't mention the influence that Joseph totally had over the culture. He doesn't mention that the first pharaoh to change Egypt from this way that things were going was born after Joseph died. The Hebrews, they lived amazingly. So amazing that the pharaoh that was born that never knew Joseph or any of those people who were around during that time or lived during Joseph's time, he was the first one to go, something's wrong here. These people that aren't us are doing better than us. They got more than us. They're thriving better than us. They got better food. They got better cattle. They got like more people. They're better than us. And I'm worried that they're going to join our enemies, since they're like right here with us, and attack us. We're like screwed. So this is when the idea of, we need to kill some of them. Let's kill the firstborn son of each one to put them in their place, and let's enslave them. So before they weren't really enslaved. They were like they were just like honored guests on the property, if you will, of the Pharaoh land. And then this guy who doesn't know Joseph, he doesn't know his descendants. He didn't experience what Joseph brought to the totality of the land. He doesn't know how he saved it. He's like, I'm scared of these people because they're so great. So let's put them down. Let's kill their children because I have fear and I don't understand. Well, so all the people are innocent. He doesn't mention how did they kill those babies? Who were the people that stopped the mothers and fathers from defending their children from being slaughtered? Who were the people who took away their resources? Who were the people that stayed silent and didn't rise up in protecting of them? Who were the people that didn't say, hey, Pharaoh, that's not cool. These people actually didn't do anything wrong. They didn't actually, they're not a threat to us. In fact, they've been a blessing to us ever since they got here, which is why Joseph had the ring of Pharaoh. None of them did. At least not enough of them did to rise up in power. So they're complacent. They're involved. They support it by not standing up against the Pharaoh who decided to do this. Plus, why would they? They're going to reap the reward in a way, right? So to say that these people are innocent is wrong. They're performing sacrifices. They're breaking all sorts of laws that they should know because they also are descendants of Noah. They also had Joseph and his teachings embedded into their culture, so much so that one of the pharaohs stole it and claimed it to be him, right? So they can't say they don't know. That's my point. And that they still behave this way. They're not innocent. And so this gentleman might say, oh, so you think it's okay then for God to kill an entire group of people and to kill children? I'm saying that you're talking about a world that we don't understand. I don't understand. You're talking about a world with no soap. You're talking about a world with no flushing toilets. No real, maybe some running water, but no running water. You never touch a person's left hand because that's the hand they use to wipe their tushy with after they're done going to number two. Right? Like you never touch it. Everybody eats with their right. Everybody shakes with their right. The hand on the left is just always not doing anything, right? There's no cameras. There's no surveillance. If you wanted to, you could go be a serial killer back then and just never get caught. There's no DNA and fingerprints. You could be an absolute psycho lunatic. And there were. If you look at the cultures, when a leader of a culture was like, we're weak, we need more power, they'd be like, let's convince the people to put their babies in a burning cauldron bowl thing, and we'll convince them it's going to be better luck for us. Like, that's like real evil. That's like real evil. And so when you have a group of people who are raised with that mindset, right? So maybe the 1-year-old doesn't have any memory of that. True. But if they look different, if they kind of appear different, if they have different attributes in some way, and then you say, oh, well, we'll just adopt them. Anybody who says that, I just go, clearly you've never worked with the foster care system. I love the stories that the Hallmark movies share where it's like you take in a foster kid and it's just like, I love the YouTube videos. I watch them all the time and I start crying. But I love the YouTube videos when there's like a stepdad who officially adopts the stepkids and they start crying because they never had like a real dad or the real dad was never around. I love that story. But if you've ever worked with the foster system or you ever worked in the foster system, that's like 1 in 10,000 happens that way. 1 in 10,000. Like, that's not the majority. Most of the kids are absolute brats. They're horrible. They have total social anxieties. They're hard to deal with. They're hard to get along with. They don't function completely normally with the family. They usually stay aloof. They try to, but it's always a little weird. And also, the families are never fully accepting of the kid like it's their own. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So, and this is in modern world where we know better, where we're educated and have televisions and we can watch videos that say this is how you treat the kid. How many cases of child abuse are in the foster care system? Like 10,000 bazillion? How many sexual harms and crimes against foster kids are there? Like 10,000 bazillion trillion? Okay, so when you take a look at the words and you say God goes and kill the babies too, you think to yourself, wow, what a horrifically evil God. You're not taking into account the totality of all the words of the Bible. First of all, those children in a dark, sad way are better off. Would you rather them stay alive and go spend the rest of their life on Epstein Island? Which one would you rather have, right? If it was me and somebody said, you're going to go spend the rest of your life on Epstein Island and be drugged and be abused and be bent over a table and you used and abused your whole life, or God's going to kill you right now while you're not even coherent of your life itself. Kill me, please. I say that sometimes with the great life I've had. I wish I died as a baby, right? You know what I mean? So is it evil? Is it evil? Or did God know what would happen to these kids? Did God know how they would be treated? And he showed grace and mercy on them. And you're just like, well, that's not fair. You're not factoring in the millennia. You're not factoring in paradise. You're not factoring in heaven. Yeshua said that heaven is the children's. They get it. They get heaven. So you see it was what? They got robbed of this life to go be what? With Yeshua? With God in paradise? Which you think is an evil God because you're not understanding the whole picture. You're not taking into an account the foster system, even today, is horrifically corrupt, horrifically filled with rape and abuse. What do you think it was like back then? Where people didn't even have toilet paper and running water. People weren't reading books. What do you think it was like? The Bible even tells us the Jews took children, the Hebrews took children and kept them as sex slaves. So when God says, no, I want you to kill them all. And people are like, oh, well, God's totally cool with them taking sex slaves. Did he say that? Did God was like, I want you to go and take these children and have sex slaves? No. No, he did not. But did he say, I want you to go and just kill them all? Kill the animals, kill everything. And you think, well, why would he kill the animals? Well, first of all, you don't know what kind of practices they had. They were trying to do gene manipulation. They were putting spells on them. They were using them for sexual acts. They were using them for ritual acts. There's all sorts of things. And whether you believe in it or not, the Bible also tells us that the pigs were like, hey man, don't kill us, send us into the water, or don't torture us, don't send us to hell, send us into the water that we may, still roam around. So you may not believe that the animals could have been holding some type of demonic possession, but God's not going to risk that with literally the tribes of humans all around the world who are doing that on a daily basis, right? And so also he needs to have all the animal bloodlines. Let's be totally understanding of the totality of the Bible here. When God says when they get to the desert for 40 years, he's like, I want you to sacrifice a clean, pure animal to me so that I can atone for the sins you guys have done. So if we take in the animals that had these other deities mingled in it, demonic forces and stuff mingled in it, and then let's just say you mingled it in with your own sheep, your own goats, your own cows, your own whatever, right? And then it's having sex and it's doing stuff and its bloodline is this and it's not pure and you don't know what they did to it or how they did to it, and now it's doing a thing and God says, bring me that sheep and let me sacrifice it on my holy altar. That doesn't make any sense. It's not just about the animals being innocent or not. It has to do with the fact that God is holy. And if you believe that the creator of the universe is above all things, then he is quote unquote holy regardless. If you think that he is not of creation, but is the creator, there's only two choices. God is either the creator or he's of creation. If he's of creation, then this guy is totally right. He's totally right that this guy is equally as sinful. This God is equally as sinful, equally as limited, equally as whatever as the greatest deity, demonic force there is. But if he truly is what created all things, then he truly is perfect. He truly is holy. He truly is righteous. And if he decides that the cattle and the sheep and the goats and the things like that, that Joseph's bloodline breeds throughout the ages and then they bring those cattle and those animals over to the desert for 40 years. He knows what those people have done. He knows their kosherness of how they have treated them. He knows who's who and what's what and what families have done so and so forth. And he, in his sovereignty, makes sure that they get there. Get to the point where when they're sacrificed, they're holy because he has seen their genetic purity, right? So He has the right to say that. He's God. He is holy. And he says, this is what I deem holy. Fine. Nothing that has been worshipped to, nothing that's been sacrificed to animals, which, by the way, is mentioned in the New Testament. When the apostles go out and they're told to go and eat with the Greeks, Peter in his dream rebukes God. He rebukes Yeshua and he says, no, I'm not going to eat from the Greek table because I don't know what that food was donated to. I don't know what deity might be involved in that food. Matches the Old Testament of everything I'm talking about. It's no different, right? But Yeshua says, no, my blood has covered that too, right? So here again, people are going to say, oh no, they modernize their minds. They realize that animals can't be unpure spiritually. Wrong. Yeshua is saying that he is going to spiritually cover that whole situation with his blood. And they do say that if you find out it was donated or offered as an offering to a false god or a deity or a demon or something like that, don't eat it. Not because of the danger of it to your soul, but for the danger of it to your peace of mind. It defines it. This matches Old Testament perfectly. How come he's not mentioning these points? How come? So he just makes it sound like God's, like I said in the beginning, a kid with a magnifying glass. We're ants, and he just decides which ones of us to annihilate. Wrong. Absolutely wrong. God is giving them plenty of chances. And then he says, oh, well, why did he have to kill the firstborn? The reason he had to kill the firstborn, this is the thing that's very interesting, that this guy doesn't mention. All 10 plagues of Egypt are all 10 offerings to their false gods. Each one represents their false gods. The flies, the frogs, the cattle, the water turning blood, the firstborn dying. Like, it's all of these things are references to their deities. So when you say, oh, well, why did God have to harden his heart? Why couldn't he teleport them over? Because he wanted to make sure the world understood. When you worship a false god, they're not protecting you. They're not real. I am real. I've told you not to do this. I know Joseph told you not to do this. I know Noah, your ancestor, grandfather, told you not to do this. I know the Jews have told you not to do this, or the Hebrews at the time had told you not to do this. You didn't listen. You thought your fake gods were real. You thought your little magic was real. You thought eating the blood and the baby killing and that this was real. And so here you go. Boom. I'm going to show you who's boss. But notice God didn't tell the Hebrews to take revenge and kill the firstborn. So the Hebrews didn't break the commandment of the Noahide law. God did it. The hands of the people were clean. God sent the Spirit, and the Spirit killed them. Do you think the baby suffered? Absolutely not. Absolutely not, they didn't suffer. There's no way that they suffered, right? So God comes in, mercifully takes the children, the firstborn, in retaliation for them taking the innocent and murdering, taking away from the families, watching the families fight and struggle to watch their babies taken away when they have done nothing wrong. And then they're holding back the dads and the brothers, and they're hitting them in the head, and they're arresting them or killing them, who are trying to stop the babies from being killed, right? And then they slaughter the babies, and now there's dead babies that they got to bury. So now everybody's burying their firstborn child, period. Right? And so God comes in the night and he takes care of it. The Hebrews, they don't have blood on their hands. God has that on his hands. It's vengeance is mine, says the Lord. Right? So why does he have to do all these things? Because they're not getting the memo. They're not getting the message. He created the earth. He wants the people of the world to be in relationship with him so much that eventually he himself is going to come into human form, 100% pure, clean, and innocent, sinless, and he is going to die on the cross for them. But it doesn't stop there. He goes into Sheol, and he gets out all the people that he wants to get out who have loved him or sought him or listened to that inner dialogue that he put on their hearts. He gets them out, and then throughout the rest of history, as I explained at the beginning of this video, he's the one who's absorbing the totality of the perpetual wrath. So he's dishing out the wrath, And then he's standing in the way of it, taking it upon himself so that we don't get it. So much so that the modern person doesn't think it even exists. They think that spiritual wrath is baloney. They think it's fairy tale and it doesn't exist anymore. He's doing such a good job at standing in the way of all the wrath. More babies have been killed, more humans have been killed in the last 50 years in America than the rest of all of the wars combined. Do you not think that there should be wrath? How many babies had to be killed in Sodom and Gomorrah? How many babies had to be killed in Mesopotamia, Mexico, or in Egypt, or anywhere else? Like anywhere else where they were doing this type of stuff, right? It didn't take that long. It didn't take as many numbers as we have today, right? So, but because we're getting away with it, we think that it's make-believe. We think it doesn't exist. What we don't see is Christ still on the cross, still receiving the totality of the hell, fire, and just the shredding of the skin, the cattails, the nails in the hand, perpetually, forever onto himself. And we're just like, I don't like this God. This God isn't my God. This God's a jerk. How dare he do that to the kids? How dare he do that to the animals? How dare he do that? He did it so that he could always provide humans a way to him. He kept the animals clean so that there could be animal sacrifices that were clean so that our sins could be forgiven. Thank you. He kept the people clean and the clothes clean so that the one who entered into the Holy of Holies to atone for all of us, he could enter in officially, even though he himself was sinful. And he would have to cover himself with the blood of the animals to remember something had to die because you people can't stop sinning. Why? Both to understand the value and the weight of sin that we today don't have. None of us have to go and sacrifice the little goat. Could you imagine if you had to sacrifice your Chihuahua or your Rottweiler or your Golden Retriever every time you sin? And you had to do it, by the way. You had to slit its throat, hold it upside down, let the blood drain down, and you had to process him or her in a perfect holy way. Or it didn't count and you had to do another one all over again. Don't you think your sins would hit a little different? So when the Holy of Holies was a thing, because God's like, I'm going to put my name here because I'm holy. I'm going to be in this realm, which is broken and messed up. But I'm going to take a little square and I'm going to place myself here and I'm going to anoint it to be holy. It's going to be a bubble and nothing can enter in. And if you enter in and you're not right and you think the wrong thought and you say the wrong prayer, you're going to die because I'm holy. This isn't a joke. So they had to tie a rope around the guy's waist and put bells on him. And he had to wave like they do right now at the Western Wall. They had to go back and forth. So the bells are ding, 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 ding. So you know he's alive. Okay, he's making the bell noise. We know he's alive. If he stops making the bell noise, they pull him out by the rope because nobody can go in to get him. Because whoever went in to get him would die too. Why? Because it's not a joke. So Christ stands in the way of all that wrath. It's not make-believe. It's not gone. It's there. And here's the thing. Anybody who reads the Bible knows this. So if you're reading the Bible, I'm not trying to make fun of you, Josh. I'm not trying to make fun of anybody. But if you've read the Bible, if you read it in order, straight through, you know all this. You know, the whole reason the animals had to be sacrificed was because they had to be kept pure so that they could go into the temple and that he could have relationship, so he could be involved. And what does God promise those who atone for their sins? Does he say, I will allow you to keep groveling? I will allow you to get down on your knees and pray to me 5 times a day? Does he say, I will allow you to once in a while sacrifice your children to me when you want good luck? No. He says, I'm going to make sure your apples never corrode. I'm going to make sure your livestock never gets sick. They're not going to get worms. They're not going to get diseases. You're not going to have to sit there and put them out of their misery because they're sick. I'm going to literally make sure they're perfect. You're never going to have to worry about a war. If somebody gets ticked off and jealous of you, I'm literally going to put them to sleep or have them kill each other, right? As long as you guys keep atoning, as long as you guys keep being cool, and guess what? I'm only going to ask one thing of you. I'm going to ask that you guys stop working 1 day a week because you work too much. I took a day off. I want you to take a day off. And I mean a real day off. I want you to take a day off when you spend time with your family. I want you to eat good food. In fact, I'm going to even rain down double portion of food the day before so you don't even have to collect it. This is what God demanded of the people who would sacrifice the animals for their sins so that he could do these things. There's not one single thing on the list that God required of people that was bad, uncomfortable, or anything like that. It was absolute bliss. He's like, I will give you protection if you sacrifice your animals that I know are of a bloodline. And you may be like, well, that's not cool. Why has he got to sacrifice? That's the part I don't like. Why do I have to kill an animal? Because you're killing Yeshua in the future, himself. You can call him the son, but you're killing him in the future. Yeshua on the cross didn't just atone for the people that day. He atoned for the totality of all existence and animals, by the way, the Bible says. He atoned for everything, but atonement onto salvation, not just for protection and anointing, right? He has the right to say, I want you to sacrifice that goat. I made the goat anyways. I want you to sacrifice that goat so you will feel the weight of your sin, because that is how it feels to me when you separate yourself from me with sin. That's a beautiful thing. A good father, a good parent reprimands their kids. And his reprimanding is you have to either sacrifice a dove, give a coin if you have no animals at all, a goat, a sheep, an ox, depending on what your level of sin and wealth is. He even is reasonable. If you're poor, you can still get out of your sin because you have less, you can give less. What part of this God sounds like the evil, I enjoy babies being killed because they're just not my people? That's not the case. It's being taken out of context utterly and completely. And what is mind-blowing to me is that this person has read the Bible so much. If anybody has read the Bible so much that they can be like, oh, I even studied that the crossing of the Red Sea never really happened. Clearly you didn't, because clearly there's plenty of people who have done the sonograms, the sonars and everything like that, and seen that the chariots are all there. So either you didn't read the entire Bible, or your heart is hardened and you just don't want to look at the truth. Because the God I see of the Bible, as the beginning of my statement probably sounded like, wait a second, the God of the New Testament is as evil and angry and as mad and as bad as the Old Testament God? Wrong. The God of the entire Bible is the most loving, caring, unbelievably generous and gracious God of all, that he goes, I'm trying to protect you. I'm trying to keep you from these things which are causing you to forget me, forget my ways, and forget that I love you, forget I created you, forget that I want your apples to never rot. I never want you to have famine again. I never want you to be like, oh, I wish our grain didn't go out. I wish that fire had never consumed us. I wish my house had never burned down. I wish my neighbor wasn't so jealous and tries to sue me and steal me and to kill my kids and my wife. Like, he wants all that to stop for you. And if he has to eliminate the people who are perpetuating that, because that's the time of the world and that's the only thing that seems to work, then that's what he has to do, right? He can't jail the people. He could totally like snap and make his fingers and make them all go away. Sure, he could do that. But then what about the rest of us? What about the rest of us? Which one of us is good enough to not get zapped? I'm not. Are you? Are you such a good person that you would be on the list of the non-zapped? I spent the first 19 years of my life a full-on pagan, a practitioner of shamanism, Buddhism, Hinduism, witchcraft. I mean, name it, guys. I went through the list of all the stuff. I even read the Satanic Bible. I never did the ritual at the end with the sword and the salt and things, but I did everything else. Everything else. I wouldn't be here. And if I had gotten zapped at that moment, I wouldn't be here now talking about the Bible. I wouldn't be here with the last 8 years of reading the Bible completely with people. but I deserve the zap. I deserve to be annihilated. I deserve to have the Hebrews come into my house and completely kill me at that point in my life. But because God always gives us a way to come to him, I'm now standing here by the grace of God, as the Hebrews say, Baruch Hashem, by the grace of God go I. I exist today because of God's grace, not because I'm good. I exist and I live and I breathe and I eat and I drink and I have a roof over my head and clothes on my back because of the grace of God. And that grace comes at a price. It came at the price of societies. It came at the price of cultures. It came at the price of animals. It came at the price of men, women, and children. And it came at the price of Yeshua, God in flesh himself. So I don't know why this guy left out all the important details. I don't know why he thinks that he's so full in his answer in saying like, look, I'm going to tell you stuff Disney doesn't tell you. Okay, I'm going to tell you stuff that Mr. Quigley doesn't tell you. He didn't even scratch half the surface. He doesn't account for what that the 10 plagues match with the different deities and the different rituals. He doesn't match with the fact that the babies were killed by their hands and the trauma against actual innocent people. He doesn't account into the fact that God still didn't eliminate the Egyptians. He didn't kill and smite all of them. He didn't eradicate them. They continued to live. They continued to be a society. They continued to go on and they rebounded. He doesn't mention that. Did God sovereign? Did they thrive outside of God's sovereignty? Is God sovereign in some things and not sovereign in all things? Did not the lore and the stories that were told about the Hebrews who once lived among them and then traveled across the water, and then all the soldiers and all the people in the chariots and horses and everybody, and they all got killed and now they're lying at the bottom of the water? Like, do you think that story didn't give people the opportunity to go, I think I'm going to start believing in this Yahweh God, because that was pretty impressive stuff, which again gives them a chance to come to know their true living God and have a relationship with him and be his people. And if any of them, according to the exact same book that this person is quoting and saying is an evil God, according to the exact same book, the Torah, it says that if anybody comes to you and says, I want in, they are to be received 100% as an equal, except for in one way. They cannot be workers in the temple, but they are to be received the exact same way. They are to be treated the exact same way. So God not only does this as an example to the Hebrews so that they know that their God is real, but he does it for the world. And the whole world sees this display of absolute magic and might, and they have the ability to come and live in peace and harmony as one with those same people and be completely equal. They just can't serve in the temple. But this is a bad, evil God? So I'm an Egyptian. I see this happen. I'm moved by it. And I think to myself, this was super real. Like, this was a real deal. None of our gods have ever displayed themselves like this. I'm getting in a boat and I'm going to go over there and I'm going to live with those Hebrews. I want whatever they got. And if they did, understand something. If the Egyptian got in the boat, crossed the water later, caught up with them in the desert and lived with them, they would have been able to eat the same manna. They would have been able to make the same sacrifices and be atoned the exact same way. Their apples would have never rotten. Their wheat would have never rotted. Their food, their goats, their animals would have never gotten diseased. When anybody came to war onto their house, they would equally be protected and anointed and blessed. So is God like choosing these people as just like mop them up and let's get rid of them? Or is he doing what is needed to be done? Because, there's this idea that if you don't have a gun or you don't have a weapon, that the people with weapons who want to come into your house and kill you, they'll be like, oh, you don't have a weapon? Oh, I was going to rob you and kill you, but since you don't have a weapon, I guess I won't do that, because, I never hurt anybody who's weapon free. We don't do that as criminals. We never attack anybody who's weapon free, right? So when he tells this story, He tells it as though all these people, he literally says the innocent, the innocent. I can't even count how many times he says the innocent. There's nobody innocent in the story of the world. There's nobody innocent. And he's saying, well, the babies are innocent. They're not innocent. Eventually they will grow up and they are inheriting the sin of the flesh that is gotten from the garden. So if you believe anything of the Bible, any human who has grown up to their teenage years at the least, but all of us have probably sinned at 5, 4, 6 for sure. We've told lies, we cheated, we punched our brother or sister when we shouldn't have, we stole a toy from our brother or sisters when we shouldn't have had, you know, we ate a Snickers or an Oreo cookie when we shouldn't have, right? We're all sinners. And you're like, well, that doesn't mean they should be killed. That wasn't the issue for them. The issue was the alternative life that they would have been born into, right? So this whole thing is interesting to me because it's interesting to me, again, Josh, I'm not picking on you, buddy. I'm not picking on you, but it's interesting to me that you would even watch this video and you're not thinking of, if you've read the entire Bible, you're not thinking about what it all means. You're not thinking about what why 10 plagues? Is it just God just like, I like the number 10 today, angels. Get ready. We're going to do some stuff to the Egyptians. No, it has a purpose. Why those plagues? Why that way? Notice too, like I'm going to get ahead of myself, but like, in order for God's protection on the night that the firstborn were killed by God's Spirit, God forced every family to eat every part of a lamb, to take its blood and put it on the doorpost. Every single family had to do the exact same thing that night. And then their children, they didn't get attacked, they didn't get killed. So God required a sacrifice of an animal and the blood to be shed and then posted. Hey, I did what you told me to do. And God said, then you will not have death in your family. That's not an evil God. That's not a bad God. The family's that like, I don't believe in that God. I don't believe that God is real. I don't like these Hebrews God. I don't like what I'm hearing from them, right? They don't do it. And they're complacent. They're part of the problem throughout the years that they killed the babies and they did the suffering and they stole their property and they stole their cattle and their goats and the things like that, and they oppressed them and then they enslaved them. And it is a different type of enslavement. When they were first there, they were guests, honored guests because of Joseph. Later on, a guy's like, I don't know why these people are here. They freak me out. They're too good. They're too nice. Their stuff is better than ours. There's more of them than us. We need to kill some of them. Let's kill their babies. Let's kill the most honorable babies they have, the firstborn. You get what I'm trying to, like, this is all reasonable. And we don't think so because we live in our modern world with televisions and Hallmark movies and Christian stories and voting for elections of politicians. And like, we are delusional to the reality of that time period. And because of Yeshua, who absorbs the totality of the spiritual consequence of our absolutely horrific behavior as a society, we think it doesn't even exist. And anybody who's read the Bible, first word to last in order, this shouldn't be a riddle to you. This shouldn't be like a thing your brain even had to go and search for. This is like obvious. It's the entire point of the story. Hey, I love you. I create you. I see it's good. I'll take a rest. Have the garden. It's perfect. Hey, if you sin inside this garden, you're going to ruin it. I'll have to kick you out. And then one day you're going to die. Oh, you did. You sinned. I kick you out. You're going to die. Okay, now you get to go. I'm going to at least allow you to live in peace. You'll live many hundreds of years. One day you will die, but you're going to live. You got to do a little work now. Before food just fell out of the sky for you. Now you got to do a little bit of work. It's not going to be fun. You're going to sweat, get some blisters on your hands, but you'll be good. Oh, okay, you killed your brother. Okay, now you're warring with each other. Okay, now you're raping each other. Okay, now you're worshiping these angels that had babies with the freaking other humans, and they created these superhumans that are fighting the giant and the other angels. And like, now you guys are all like, you forgot all about me and you're worshiping you. Like, what the heck is going on? I'm still your God. I still created all this. How quickly you forgot I was there. Okay, I'm going to flood the whole earth because you've gotten all out of control. I'll leave one family, one guy left, clear as day, obvious. And then he will tell everybody we'll start again. Everybody that comes from him, the guy lives a super long time. He tells the story. He makes sure it's known. They all come around. Boom! Right away. They go right back into tribing, right back into worshiping other gods, right back into making up of their own deities. So what does he do? He waits for the right people who won't mess up, who will at least carry off the truth. And he says, I'm going to give you and your family away. I'm going to give you and your family away. I'm going to give you and your family away to get to me, to come back to me. That's what the entire Bible is. It's God perpetually reaching out his hand and saying, is there one of you that still loves me? Is there just one of you who still loves me? And when one person goes, I do, I will love you, and I really mean it, he goes, okay. And then the whole world hates that person, and the whole world comes against him. Even his brothers will throw him in a ditch and sell him as a slave or feed him to the lions. They just hate you. As soon as you're the one that you love God and God loves you, the world hates you. And then he goes, I'm going to protect you. And the people who come against you, man, you say you love me, I love you. You raised your hand, said me, I'll be the one. Okay, well then anybody that comes against you, I'm going to thrash them because I'm Big Dada. And which one of us, if we saw a 5-year-old hitting our 4-year-old, we wouldn't be like, hey, and put our hand and go, no, right? Which one of us, if we saw a teenager attacking our 5-year-old, we wouldn't slap that little teenager? Which one of us, if we saw an adult person putting their hand on our teenager, wouldn't go and be like, hey, now you got to fight me? So why do we think that it's not cool if God does the same thing? Because he's all powerful. He can beam them up to another place. Why? They deserve to get reprimanded. They not only in their reprimanding get treated appropriately, but in their reprimanding, they also get to see a display of God, which gives them a chance to repent, which gives them a chance to become one of those whose apples don't corrode, whose farm doesn't get lit on fire, whose enemy can't come and fight on them. And they have a relationship with God, and their children won't get sick. So when God spanks you in the tushy, and you go, oh, he's such a mean God, that spank in the tushy proved he's real. And that means that you have the opportunity to go, okay, now that I know you're real, that hurt, my bad. But now that I know you're real, I'm going to join in the parade, and I'm going to walk the line, and I'm going to be a good boy or a good girl, and I'm going to allow you to give me apples that never corrode. And I'm going to be in a relationship with you. And like a guy named Moses did. Do you see my point? So this is all the entire book of the Bible is nothing but that. That's it. That's the story of the Bible. It's God literally perpetually saying, can I love you, please? Can I love you, please? Oh, somebody wants to hurt you? Watch this. No. At God level. Rightfully so. So this guy's video, it's silly to me. It's a silly, here's why it's silly. He's educated enough that he should know all the things I've said. If he's not educated to that degree, he shouldn't be making videos about it. If he is educated to that degree and he's not mentioning the things I'm talking about, which are absolute fact, he's evil. He knows better, and he wants to perpetuate lies. And he wants to perpetuate a false picture of God. And when let me note on this. I watched this video. I watched the entire video, and I liked it. I liked it because I'm like, well, at least he's doing a good job. At least he's delivering it in a way that's digestible. He's not all being like holier than that. He's not being all like, nose up about it, right? And I'm liking it. If I didn't have the knowledge I had, I would agree with him 100%. If I didn't have the knowledge of the Bible itself in its totality, I would agree with him 100%. And that's what's bad about it. Because the devil doesn't show up with a pitchfork, red skin, horns on his head, and a spiky tail. He shows up as an angel of light. And this guy's whole thing is like, I am more moral than the story of this God in this story. I would never kill the women. I would never kill the babies. I would never do this. I would never tell the people to go and annihilate an entire race of people. And that just shows exactly why it's a good thing he's not our God, because then we wouldn't have any stories of the true living God. We wouldn't have Yeshua's story reaching us today, because if it was people like him, they would change the narrative just as he did, and they would bring it to us falsely. It would be skewed. It would either be like, this is lore and this is just a fairy tale. The story is just to install moral compassing for you. It's not actual, which then means that when you hear it, you're not understanding the full depth of the reason for it. And if you don't understand the full depth of the reason for it, you don't understand the depth of the cross. And if you don't understand the depth of the cross, you don't understand the depth of God's love. And you don't understand that this world is not what reality is about. The reason you breathe and the reason you have a heartbeat and the reason you have thoughts is not for this world. It's for the next world. And if everything that we hear in the Bible is just an allegory or hyperbole or a fairy tale story to install some weird moral compass on us, which if it's false, then it's a weird moral compass. If that's the case, then this world is the best thing that can and will ever happen to you. But if it's actual and it's factual and it's exactly what has happened, then you understand utterly that this is not what this creation that we live in is about. And that's the point. That's the point. You get to have free will here. You get to make mistakes and you get to say, I'm sorry, and you get to choose to walk right. And if you do, Yeshua absorbs the totality of the wrath that is designed for you forever, and he allows you to come and join him where the Father exists. Not in the millennia. Everybody always stops on the millennia. Like that's the end of the story. It's not. It's a weird little 1,000-year bridge. It's like one more chance for the kids that did get killed. It's like one more chance for the tribal people that never got to even hear the name Yeshua. They never got to hear the gospel. The 1,000 years is just this weird little let's make sure everybody has a chance thing. It's not the end of the story. That's not the crown jewel here. The crown jewel is we all end back up with the Father, which is where Yeshua originally came from. Right? So that's where we end up if we choose him. If we say, yeah, my flesh does go against you. This isn't what I really want. I don't want this world. I want your world. I can't see it, but I believe it's true. I can't see you, Yeshua, but I can feel you. I hear your words and they resonate with my soul and I know they're true. That's all I got. I receive it. And you respond accordingly. That's not an evil God. There's nothing evil about that God. And the story of Exodus, you're like, man, he could have done worse. He could have done worse. Instead of flooding the world, he could have fired the world. And what I mean like Ooga Flame. He could have just been like, Ooga, and then the whole world, fire everywhere, which is what he's going to do. So that's my big, long story response to that wonderful, wonderful comment, Josh. And again, man, I'm not picking on you. I know it may sound like I am, but I asked you if you read the whole Bible, and you said you did, but it was a long time ago. And I understand we all have different levels of comprehension in our reading, but man, if you're watching videos like this, and I know you are because you sent me videos throughout the last 8 years like this, like you've sent me stuff, told me stuff about what you're looking at, things you heard, somebody on the internet said this and that. I don't know why you're giving this attention. If you're going to watch any videos, watch the EBRT videos. If you're going to spend any time on anything about God, pick up the Bible and read it. And you're like, when I read it, I don't get it. Then keep reading it. Do not let a sentence go by until you understand it. Do the research. When somebody makes a video like this, like let me put it to you this way. I'm going to soapbox for 1 second. Don't worry, it won't be long. If you can watch a video like this, like I said, if I didn't know what I know, I would agree with him 100%. And this guy is talking with the biggest dose of self-righteousness, but it's layered so calmly and so humbly and so logically like I said, he's a great guy for like these videos. Like he's doing a great job, right? I have nothing bad to say about the guy except that he's lying, and he's either intentionally doing partial truth or he really doesn't know and he shouldn't be talking out of his backside, right? But why, if you watch a video like this and rightfully so go, dang, this guy's got a good point, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Why did God allow the babies to be killed? Why did the women have to be killed? Why did the freaking sheep and the goats and the cows have to be killed? Why did frogs have to be killed? That's my favorite animal. I got them in my kitchen. They hold the soap in their mouth. I love frogs. Why did so many frogs have to die? God is mean. If your brain thinks that for 1 second, think about what your brain's going to do when you see in the air, on earth, beings that aren't from this world saying your God's not real. The story you heard was hyperbole, was a metaphor. We were the ones who were doing all those things. We were the ones who caused the frogs to fall. We were the ones who caused the fire to burn. We were the pillar of fire in the cloud. We were the ones who spoke to Moses on the hill. How easily will you be confused? How easily will you be duped? How easily will it be for those experiences to go, what you heard from your pastors on the pulpit, what you heard from your mommy and your daddy and your friends about the Bible, they got it wrong. How do we know? Because we were the ones who told those people what to write. We did it so that you would be better people. Imagine that compared to a YouTube video that just sounds, that's logical. Why is God a jerk? You guys, there's nothing more important moving into the future than for you to read the Bible for yourself, first word to last, in order. Don't rush. We didn't rush it. We're going on 8 years for the entire Bible read through. We're on video 262, right? It's there. We did the work with you. We did the work for you. All the people who have participated. You can go and you can watch the videos. If you're going to watch a video every night, if you're going to watch your favorite TV show, your favorite movie, you're going to play your favorite video game, you're going to go onto YouTube and doom scroll the EBRT videos, doom scroll the Bible, because your soul is at risk. I'm not a fire and brimstone preacher, but if videos like this, which are very good, they could make 99.9% of all people literally go, there's no way the Old Testament God is the God of the New Testament. 99.9% of all humans on earth could watch this guy's video, 28 minutes, and literally their mind could be changed. And they could go, you know what? This guy's right. There's no way that the Old Testament God is the same God of the New Testament. There's no way. So now I don't know what to think about the Old Testament. So now I don't know what to think about the entire Bible. So now I don't even know if I know who Jesus is. I like what he teaches. He teaches love, so I'll just go with that. I'm just going to live my life and love on people. And now that's what their salvation is. Yeshua loved on people. I'm going to turn the other cheek. I'm going to love my neighbor. I'm not going to kill. I'm not going to steal. I'm going to go to heaven. And that's what their ticket to heaven is. Yeshua was a good guy who taught good things. I'll be good. I'll get into heaven. Do you see how quickly that changes from a video like this? Instead of all of this is God's wrath because he created something perfect and we humans messed it up, he had to demonstrate the totality and the weight of what our sin really is. It's not just a little oopsie. It's massive and it affects the totality of our soul's existence. And he has ensured and perfected and solidified an unequivocal way for us to get back to him by absorbing that wrath that he exudes out in justice upon himself. So not upon something that's not him, not upon just some innocent person that he decided to manifest and make like clay out of a human's womb. No, it's him himself in that. And he takes the totality of the wrath he said he would dish out upon himself, and he knew he would before he even created heaven. It's in his name, Yeshua. Yahweh is salvation. Emmanuel, God is with us. He himself created the story knowing how he would end the story as the absorber of his wrath, so that we could have a perpetual moment-to-moment choice of choosing him. Do you see the difference between that understanding of relationship with God and Yeshua preached love? He seemed like a good guy. I'll be good. I won't steal. I won't kill. I'll see him in heaven. Oh, what a difference. The difference is one is as light as a feather, and the other one is the gravity of a neutron star. 4 black holes slammed together times 10,000. Do you see the difference? So when somebody, if you can be duped by this, if you don't know the whole story, this is danger to your soul. And so I'm grateful that I have this ministry. I'm grateful that I do Q&As. I'm grateful, Josh, that you watch this video. But I pray, brother, that you stop watching this stuff and you just read the Bible for yourself, man. I don't know how many times you yourself have heard me say it. And if you go, I did read it for myself. Read it again. I mean, I'm reading it again slowly with thousands of people. I'm not above reading it again. Nobody should be above reading it again. Keep reading it. What else are you going to do with your time? Listen to that guy? Be confused? Who wants to be confused? Just read the Bible. Sorry, had to cough there for a second. I've been talking so much. All right, let's get to the other questions. So, let me look at the live responses to my rant. I have no idea what you guys wrote. This will be fun. Janet Smith, sorry I've been on Facebook more. I understand. Really, they're going to have Koninston about Hebrews. How about Job? I think harder means fine. I'll turn over I'm sorry. I'm not trying to. I think you may have typos. I'm not trying to pick on you. I don't know what you're writing exactly. Type it again. Who dat says Wyatt back in the 80s, maybe late 70s, is the one who found it and filmed it along with other findings. At the time, right. He was laughed at. Now they call new findings, and you can watch his videos on YouTube. Yeah. So the guy who originally found it, his name was Wyatt. Right, gotcha. Chris, 7717. That's such an incredible thought to digest, that Moses didn't know Yahweh's name until he asked. Never thought about that until he was said out loud. Hallelujah. Evelyn says, Yah made hell. He can't be horrific. Fear him. He can be horrific. Yeah, he can. Exactly. Raphael, hello from Brazil. Welcome, Raphael. Blessed to have you with us. Who that says, the times of ignorance God overlooked, but now he commands all people everywhere to repent. Acts 17:30-31. Amen. Eon Veteran says, exactly, Nathan. I've been saying that we serve a warrior king and not a soft, fluffy being. And people get angry and others get confused. Yeah, it's because they don't know. Eon Veteran, and I'm very happy to be his child. He's my hero. Mine too. Annie Garcia, thank you for explaining this. You answered some questions I had. Praise the Lord. That's why these Q&As are helpful. And hopefully hopeful too. Eon Veteran says, I realize that if a human doesn't have the Holy Spirit, it is no longer a human being. It's just a human without the being. That's good. I like that. Eon Veteran, Father does that. He really intervenes when somebody wants to hurt us. Yes, he does. Azure, this is Josh. Geez, I asked for a refresher. I definitely feel targeted. For the record, I was curious about what the answer was. I got an hour of it. I don't actually watch too many videos about it because I'm not sure the answer. Okay, well, fair, man. But over the years, we've had a lot of conversations, and I'm not trying to pick on you, but I'm glad you watched it. Like I said, I'm glad you watched it because I think it does answer a lot of things, and I'm glad you brought it to my attention. You shouldn't be scared to bring it to my attention. I mean, I think, and the hour-long answer is to address the totality of the genre of thinking. It's not to attack you. You didn't make the video. Unless you feel like this video is you, unless you feel you identify with this video, then I could see how you would definitely feel attacked, but I don't mean to attack you at all. But I'm also going to speak boldly in my response because this is a life or death for the soul situation. You know what I mean? So you shouldn't feel attacked because you didn't make the video. But this guy who watches it, if he watches this video, he should feel attacked because he's an idiot. or he's evil. There's only two things. He's either a super confident idiot, or he is very evil and he is conniving and he is seeking to damn souls. So that's not you. You're not that guy. But I do know that over the years, we've had a lot of conversations and you ask these type of questions, which you should, you're more than welcome to ask. But at the same time, you say you read the Bible, like, you say you read the whole Bible. I'm presenting you an opportunity to answer this question for yourself. I'm here to be a blessing and to serve in any way I can. And though you may not feel like I'm blessing you right now, I hope that you really understand that I am trying to bless you right now, because I'm giving you the full and utter response, unlike this guy did, right? But at the same time, it is fair for me to ask you, as your friend and your brother in Christ, why did you need me to answer this question? I'm glad I could. I'm glad I could be here to answer any question like this, but why did you need me to answer it? I'm getting the same answers that I'm feeding you from the same book you can read. I'm not making fun of you. I'm presenting you with an opportunity to go, you're right. I should read the book more so that I don't need to go to other people for those questions. Again, I'm not saying I don't want the questions. I do the Q&As because I do want them. But my response for the last 13, 14 years has been, but don't believe me. Go read the Bible for yourself. And we're running out of time. Legitimately, we're running out of time. They're trying to genetically make the red heifer every day as we speak, right? So if my output here seems a little bit more aggressive than ever before, it's because we're running out of time and the deception, the great deception, is coming, right? And there will be a day where we're not allowed to talk about this on the internet. There will be a day where you can't reach out to anybody and ask about this. You'll only have the sources of those who come down from the sky and say that they are the gods that we think we know. That's it. That's all you'll have. So if you don't do the work now, right, when are you going to do it? You say, because I didn't remember the answer and how it was said. That's why I asked. I get what you're saying. So you just wanted the way I answered it. Well, this is the way I answer it, though. Like, this is the way I answer things. So you know me well enough. You've been here for like 10 years. You shouldn't be super offended or feel like targeted. I'm sorry if you feel targeted. I'm apologizing. But I'm not going to change the way I answer, especially because we're running out of time, right? So you wanted me to answer. This is how I answer. And if you feel that my answer is harsh and abrupt or, got a sharp edge to it, yeah. And it's only going to get sharper with every day that passes on. And I've been saying that since my first video in my testimonial series. I even say in my testimonial series, there will come a day where many of you don't like me because of what I'm going to say in the end, right? I even prophesy that many people who like me today during Truth Me Free won't like me at the end of things, because I already know where this is going. I already know how my answers are going to get. I already know how sharp my tongue is going to get. So I'm not picking on you no matter how you receive this. I'm not picking on anybody. I'm picking on this guy a little bit because, like I said, there's one of two things. He's either an idiot who's overly confident, or he's evil. So he put himself on the internet. So he's fair game, just like I'm fair game, right? So yeah, we as Christians need to not have this idea that we need to be soft, fluffy beings. Our Father is not a soft, fluffy being, just as our sister said. And we need to stop tiptoeing and walking on eggshells. And so, listen, I've had 1,000 conversations with my brothers and sisters in Christ here on the internet, and every one of my conversations at some way, shape, or form ends with, go read the Bible for yourself. Don't believe anything I say. One day the internet's going to be turned off, and one day our conversation's going to end. I will not be able to be here for you, and you will not be able to pick up the phone or send an email or make a phone video or anything like that either, right? So the whole idea of my entire ministry from day one is don't watch me, don't trust me, go read the Bible for yourself, right? You say it's not so much you, there is just internal pressure, if that makes sense. I don't know how to deal with what I'm feeling, to be honest. Okay, now that's different, right? But the way, if you have internal pressure, if I'm wrong, correct me, right? If you have this internal pressure you're talking about, which you're not alone. Anybody in the chat want to go me too? I got that as well, Josh, right? Show him that he's not alone. If you have that internal pressure and you have that internal fight and that internal dialogue going on, it's because you don't have enough of the truth ingrained into you and solidified for you, right, to fight against it. And I think some of us are under the impression that if we have that pressure or that fight still in us, a part of our brain going, is this the truth? Like, actually the truth? Is it the ultimate truth? Is there a part I'm missing? Is there something else I don't know? Is it this or that? We all have that. I have that, which is why I continue to read the Bible, which is why I continue to study, which is why I continue to dig, which is why I continue to pray, which is why I continue to serve, right? But the only way to combat it in the truest form is to get into a relationship with God, be filled with the Holy Spirit, and perpetually read the Word, right? Not to mention, I've had a rough few days, and I may not be the best state of mind, more susceptible to things like this, I suppose. Fair. But again, I'm not trying to pick on you or anybody else, except for this guy a little bit, because he put himself on the internet. And he's doing harm. He's literally doing harm to the body, to the people of the world. But you need to, I'm telling you, you need to chill out on taking it personal, because it's not everything that I went crazy on is about him, not you. But when I say you read the Bible, you should see it as a brother on a football field, who's growling at you while we're on the lineup. And I'm sitting there going, man up, let's do this. We're going to squash these guys. We're going to beat these guys. We're going to destroy these guys, right? That's what I'm doing to you. I'm giving you true brotherly love because, the ball's about to be hiked and we're about to be in the game of games, right? You don't have time, brother. So if you're feeling pressure, it might be God putting pressure on you saying you don't have time. And you're like, well, that's why I watched the video. Well, I'm telling you, that's not obviously helping you, right? If you want to watch a video from a source who believes in God. That guy doesn't even say the Bible is real. Why are you listening to him about what the Bible is? Read the Bible for yourself. You're like, I have read the Bible for myself. I don't know if it's real. I don't know what to think. Seek God, not that dude. You know what I mean? Not like the Bible also says to be wise with the counsel you seek. And I appreciate the fact that you brought this to me, right? But in my counsel, I tell you not to listen to me. This guy is saying, he just literally says, this is what it is. And then he drops it. Like he knows and he's done the research and he says, it's not what happened during Exodus didn't happen. He literally says this. It didn't happen. It's not real. That's not how it went down. And this isn't the God. Right? Like that's what he says as if he is the guy who knows and he's done the research. And that's that. And that's not how I go. I say, don't trust me, go read it for yourself. And if you find what I said in the Bible, which is the missing pieces he left out, then you should go back to that Mr. Quigley guy and you should go, dude, you left out the most important parts of this story. And that's not cool because you are deceiving people and you're telling half-truths. And I almost got duped by you. Not because I listened to Nathan Wheeler, but because I went back and I read the Bible as Nathan Wheeler may have suggested, and I saw the things in the Bible that Nathan Wheeler said were in there. I see that he told the truth. They are there. And now I'm telling you, you're a bad guy, and you're making these videos with half lies, half truths, and I know because I read the Bible, not because Nathan Wheeler said so. Do you see the difference? So this guy doesn't tell people to read the Bible in his video. So, man, this is me on in the game, shoulder to shoulder with you, saying there's no time left. And when I say there's no time left, I mean there's no time left. Before I would say time's running out. There's no time left. You have but a window to get the Bible written into your heart and to get the Bible written into your mind. And if that means that you have to spend 5 days on one single sentence that you don't understand in the Bible, you need to spend those 5 days on that one sentence. Everybody watching this, I'm telling you, you have no time left. And I remember back in 2016, especially when I was telling people, you're running out of time. You need to start your gardens. You need to start your water cleaning. You need to start your water capturing. You need to start changing your income. You need to start changing what you buy. You need to start changing what you spend. You need to start voting differently. You need to start paying attention to the laws and what they're doing to take away your rights. I told people stay away from what was coming with Bill Gates and the jab in the arm. People laughed at me. They made fun of me. So far, about everything I said to prepare for what's coming, I've not been wrong. I've never been wrong on what I said was coming in regards to the end of the world and the times of the world and all this type of stuff. And I don't normally talk that boldly. I don't normally pat myself on the back. But after 14 years, I got a really, really, really amazing, perfect track record. Everything I said was coming has come. Everything I said they were going to do, they did. Everything that I said everybody's going to be talking about, everybody's now talking about. When I mentioned the third temple, people never even know there was a third temple. When I mentioned Yahweh's name, nobody even knew. White people in America didn't even know what Yahweh was. Yeshua was, right? Everything that I've been saying has been 100% dead on. Now they're looking to breed the red heifer as many times as they can. They're trying to make as many as they can so they can sacrifice right away and get the temple up right away. And when the temple goes up, we've already been in the 7 years. I'm going to say that again because a lot of people keep thinking that when the temple goes up, the 7 years is beginning. Wrong. The agreement that allows the temple to go up starts. So when the temple is up and running and built, we've already are in 7 years. We're already in the 7 years, not coming up to it. We're in it, right? So the fact that they're literally making as many red heifers as they possibly can to sacrifice the one as soon as possible, they're at the point. The pieces, as I said in 2014, I already told you guys, I knew that the pieces were already built. Then the candlestick, the tables, the show bowls, all the stuff, the chairs, the bricks are Lego numbered and everything. That was back in 2013 before anybody was talking about it. So again, man, I'm not picking on you. I know I'm having a direct conversation with you, but trust me, there's a lot of people listening to what I have to say. That's why I'm speaking like this to everybody. We're out of time. We're out of time. There is no time left. Whatever time you think you have is the time. Think of it like this. The enemy is running to your door. Your hand is on the knob, and you have to have the door closed and locked before the enemy reaches your door, bulldozers it down, and takes you over, spiritually speaking. Your hand needs to already have been on the knob, and you need to have already started pushing the door because your enemy is like this far away from the door, and you still have to lock the deadbolt. So you have to push the door closed, lean against it while they hit it, and hopefully lock the door. That's the time we're in. Because once they get through that door, it's your soul, my brothers and sisters. It's your soul. And everybody watching this video thinks I'm one of the ones that's not going to have to deal with it. I'm one of the ones that's going to be perfect, and me and God are good, and I'm going to be solid, and they can come and chop my head off. They can do whatever they want. I'm going to stand with Yeshua. I'm going to be hero of the day. I'm going to be like, yo, I'm Peter 2.0. Crucify me upside down. No, you're not. No, you're not, because it doesn't work that way. They're going to first slowly take away your rights. They're going to first slowly take away your power and your water and your electricity and your ability to drive to the grocery store, your ability to buy groceries. They're going to give you a tiny bit of money to buy the groceries. They're going to take away your ability to buy the groceries. They're going to come and take your kids away because you can't give them the groceries because you won't play ball. And then when they take their kids away, you're going to know that they're going to put a chip in your kid or a mark on your kid that's going to doom your kid's soul. And then you're going to take your kid away and you're going to be sitting there going, I'm all good. This is going to be a cakewalk. I got this. I love Yeshua. And I have been saying this for how many years? Before it was cool on the internet, I've been talking just like this. And before I said, you're running out of time. You're running out of time. Now I'm saying you're out of time. You're out of time. Every single person needs to make the decision right now, right here, today. You either believe every single word of the Bible, or you start reading the Bible like your actual life depends on it. If you don't believe that your soul depends on it, you need to be reading it like your life depends on it. Because in the very near future, they're going to be coming to your door. They're going to be coming to your bank account. They're going to be coming to your wallets. And they're going to be coming to your work. and to your family's house and to your kids' house and to all the people that you know. And they're going to be doing the things to them that you read about in the Bible, and they're going to be doing it to you. And you have two choices. You either play ball and you do exactly what they say and you doom your soul, or you don't play ball and you save your soul and you endure what the Bible says is the worst time in human history. In human history. That means before the flood. That means Second Temple period. That means First Temple period, and in between Second Temple period. That's the Dark Ages. That's the Vikings invading period. Genghis Khan period. All of it. Right? Worse than any of it. It is here and it is now. So you want me to speak softly. You want me to be happy-go-lucky. You want me to tell you that the God of the Bible isn't the real God and that our moral compass is proof because our moral compass is better than the God in the Bible. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff. I'm not saying you, Josh, on this. Truly, I'm not saying you on that one. I'm just using that as a reference, right? Our human minds are going to do everything it can, just as it has for almost everybody watching for the last 10 years, who have been watching my videos for the last 10 years. There's some little voice in the back of the head that said, I have time. I have time. I have time. I'll get around to it. I have time. It won't be that bad. It won't happen here. It won't happen with me. God will provide a way. God will give me an option. God will give me a way out. I have time. I have time. I have to wait till my kids grow up. I got to wait till my kids get out of school. I can't make any dramatic things. My family's going to think I'm a lunatic. My family's going to think I'm crazy. My family's going to take my kids away from me. I can't do this. My kids are going to think I'm nuts. I'm going to be robbing my kids of their childhood. I can't tell my kids about this. This is a horrible thing that's going to scar their minds. There's all these little things in your head that are going on and being said, and I get it, and I know. I'm literally expressing them now. I'm totally aware of them. But right now, you're out of time. It's done. We're there. We are there. The moment they sacrifice the calf, the temple goes up. When the temple goes up, we're in the 7 years. It's not coming, guys. We're in the 7 years, right? And you would be like, well, we'll know when they create the agreement. No, you won't. They've created the agreement 10,000 times over in the last 20 years. Bill Clinton signed an agreement. Bush Jr. signed an agreement. Obama didn't, but definitely Trump has signed multiple agreements. You don't know which one is the one that makes the temple go up, right? So, and you think it's going to be like, you think it's going to be that the police come knocking on your door? Hey, I heard you're a Christian and a believer in the Messiah, Jesus Christ. I heard that you posted on your social media, Jesus is king, and that is blasphemy and that is a lie. Do you stand on this or do you want to go to jail and be beheaded? And you think like it's going to be like that cookie cutter Christian movie, cheesy baloney, doesn't actually ever happen type of reality. That's not how it works, man. That's not how they do it. They slowly pick away at you. Death by 1,000 cuts. They manipulate you. They label you as crazy. They cause the world to start to manipulate you, and your enemies start to make up lies about you, and then you start to get labeled, and you start to go hungry, literally, and you're like, but that doesn't make sense. There's a whole store full of food right there, but I can't go get it because I did something wrong. I just need to figure out a way to please the people and go get the food. I need to make a deal with my neighbor. It's not a thing where they show up on your doorstep like you see in the movies. Hey, I got a blade to your neck. Denounce your God or I'm going to chop it off. Well, this is pretty easy. Chop it off. It's not like that. It's death by 1,000 cuts. And then eventually, you might get to the point, if you somehow find a way to survive that long, get to the point where they put a sword to your neck and say, denounce your God or whatever. And at that point, you're going to be like exhausted and you'll be like, dude, please just chop my head off. This place sucks. You know what I mean? Then it'll be a blessing to get your head chopped off. Let me say that again. Then it will be a blessing to get your head chopped off. There's a prophecy for you. It will be a blessing to get your head chopped off. That's what reality is going to look like, and we are out of time. So this is a great video, brother. You did a great thing, but my answer is the same as it's always been, and it's not me picking on you. It's me being a loving brother to everybody. you don't have the luxury of fiddle farting around with watching videos on YouTube anymore. And if that means you stop watching my videos, I'm cool with it. Just let me know. I'm going to stop watching your videos because I'm going to go read the Bible. And that's weird because we have EBRT. But if you're like, I'm going to go read the Bible and I'm going to study it to no end and I'm going to do it all by myself. Okay, cool, fine. But, you know, let me know just so I know that that's the reason you left, and I'll cheer you on and pray for you along the way. But, you know, this type of behavior, like this type of videos, like, I mean, as soon as you hear the guy say the Bible is not true, the Bible's not real, I mean, let's have a conversation about this real quick. I don't know how to respond to that. How do you want Nathan Wheeler to respond? Think about this question, right? Like, everybody. How do you want Nathan Wheeler to respond to a video of a person who opens his video saying what happened in the Bible isn't the truth? Like, there's only one way for me to respond. You know what I mean? See, who dat says, which is Lindy, I'm glad this was brought up. I didn't know about this movie. She means the video. Thanks for bringing it up. See? It's people are glad. Who that says reading the Bible might sound tasking. I get it as someone who has not read many books, but I've read it beginning to end. It is our responsibility and the beginning of our relationship with him. Yes, and if you've already read it, as you said you have, keep reading it. Eon Veteran says, yes, time's up. Father has been warning for years. Yep. Evelyn Perkins says, so many people don't want to hear that time is out. They think I'm crazy when I say this. I know, me too. People think I was crazy when I started saying time is running out. Eon Veteran says, yeah, especially people with children do not want to hear any of this. They don't believe. They believe, but they don't want to acknowledge it, and they just hope that God's going to give them manna from the sky. Evelyn Perkins says, that's already happening. Katie Bullock says, I definitely needed to hear this. Thank you for this conversation. Praise the Lord. Who that says, I'm glad this was brought up. Okay, there you go. All right, I'm going to get to the other questions now. Now we've gotten caught up on this, and just so everybody knows, I think that Josh did a wonderful thing. I'm glad that he watched it. I'm glad that he brought it up. I'm not picking on you, buddy, but I am your buddy standing on the freaking on the goal line or whatever. I don't even play football. The scrimmage line, and I'm looking over at you growling, and I'm pushing you with my shoulder like a man, and I'm hitting you, and I'm smacking you on the helmet, and I'm like, let's do this. Let's go. Let's go. Rawr, rawr, rawr. That's what I'm doing. Don't see it as anything else. Sharon Roberts, it's amazing how the Lord showed that was to Patrick. I have a question on prayer. My prayer life is quite basic. I either pray for others or I'm having a conversation with Yeshua. I'm also wondering if prayer can be just sitting with him and not speaking. What do you think? No, that would be meditating with the Lord, or just, spending time with the Lord. Be still and know that I am the Lord thy God. That's what I would call that. I'm wondering if we overthink this area where so many people struggle with prayer. I just thought about when Yeshua spent the night in prayer and was wondering how that looked in Luke 6:22. I think prayer is prayer. The Bible has sentences a couple times that says prayer and supplication. So prayer isn't what I think modern people think prayer is, biblically speaking. Prayer is like talking to God. But it's talking to God like acknowledging him, acknowledging life, acknowledging your situation, acknowledging you, what you're grateful for, talking to him. So, today I was spending time with Jill. We walked in the park today, God, like, of course he sees it, but you're just talking to him, right? You're like, we walked in the park and she's really struggling, God, and I don't know, she kind of said something that really upset me, and I hope you give me a heart of peace or something like that. Like, somehow the conversation, usually with God, turns into a request. So the Bible says prayer and supplication. And a lot of people think that supplication is like fasting. Like you fast something or you offer something. So supplication is where you're actually pleading to God for something. So prayer can just be conversation. It can be asking for things, but supplication is where you're like on your knees, you're crying out to the Lord, please, Lord, hear my prayer, hear this request, please, this and that, right? So fasting as well, exactly. But prayer, fasting, supplication, stewardship, surrender, all these things are all part of it, right? So I would say don't overthink prayer. I would put prayer in the talking to God. You can hang out with God and not say anything. Be still and know that I am the Lord thy God is actually a commandment. You know, so that's a thing that we should do. We don't always have to be talking to him. We can just be kind of there in his presence and know he's there with us, even if we don't feel him, even if we don't see him. We just know he's there in everything, right? So that's a commandment, but we should be participating in conversation with him. We'll look like crazy people, but that's okay. But we should be participating in conversation with him, and we should be supplicating for one another, right? We should be petitioning to him for the needs and the wants of our brothers and sisters. Who dat? If you need someone to read with you, let me know. This is Lynn. I say that with love, with no judgment. There you go. If you want Lynn to read with you, anybody, or Josh, Lynn will read with you. Bam. Evelyn Perkins, fasting helps. Fasting does indeed help. So hopefully that answers a question, Sharon Roberts. For me, that's my 2 cents. That's my persuasion. Somebody else can comment in the video live if they want to. And what is going on? Okay. I don't know. Oh. This took away none of my sales. Going to be on. And then we have Josh. I don't know what to say to you, buddy. Josh, you're saying this took the wind out of your sails. You're going to go jump off a bridge. Okay, well, I mean, that's not cool. And I'm sorry. I don't know what you wanted me to say. I think you wanted me to say this is a great video. This guy's wrong. Kumbaya. I don't know what you want me to say. You wrote me, buddy. You know how I respond to these things. Again, this wasn't directed to you. And if you're making it about you, then I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you don't think I had the opportunity to do the same thing and I had reason to do the same thing? What about when a whole bunch of people were telling lies about me to everybody in this congregation? You know what I mean? So we all have our struggles, bud, but we're here for you. I'm here for you. This is me showing you love, even if it doesn't feel like it. And I'm not going to not show love in any other way, because giving you platitudes and giving you, fluffy speech like everybody, Joel Osteen or something, it's not going to help you, man. So, and trust me, when the day comes and they do come knocking on your door and they do turn off your wallet and they do turn off your bank account and they do stop you from buying the groceries and they do, stop you from filling up your car with gas, and then your boss goes, if you don't get here, you're going to get fired, but you can't take the bus. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to be grateful. I believe you're going to be grateful that I spoke and responded the way I did, because you're going to be like, yeah, that Nathan guy told me it would be just like this. Where anybody else might be saying, don't worry, you have time. Keep thinking positively. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, God's waiting for you on the other side. All of this happened because he loves you. This life sucks. He warned us. Yeshua died on the cross because we wouldn't deal with it good. And he wants us to be with him in heaven. And that's why we endure it, because he's worth it. Because you're worth it to him to die on the cross and absorb the wrath of your sins every day. And if you're like, oh, that's not enough for me. I don't know what you want me to say. It's enough for me. I'm a horrible sinner. I hope part of this deal is that Christ never shows me the totality of what my sin has done to him. I don't know if my soul could handle it. Like, I know that there is an ocean of wrath that Yeshua takes just for me alone. So that's why I wake up, and that's why I keep going. That's why I suffer whatever this world throws at me, whether it's kidney stones, heart issues, other health issues, bad people, lying people, manipulative people, trolls, haters, broken family, death to family, suicide in family, my dying brother's wish that I won't go to his funeral, which nobody in my family tells me until I get to the funeral. Like, dude, trust me, I'm right there with you. I know what it's like. I know what it's like to have a crap stick in your hand. I know. But Yeshua is worth it. That's it. That's the fact. I wouldn't be getting online if it wasn't the case. And I'm not just speaking to you, Josh. I'm speaking to the thousands of other people who are thinking the exact same way you are. And there's millions of them, but probably only thousands will eventually see this video. So we rejoice, man, that we have this. We rejoice that you met some guy on the internet who doesn't pull the punches. Eon Doreen, it seems like the world is going to high gear now. And this weekend, while helping a friend move stuff, we had a conversation about what's going on in the world right now. Sadly, people still don't realize what season we are in. They just want to continue living the way they do, don't want to be bothered with what they perceive as negative. Willful ignorance comes to mind. I realize that I can't help them in the area of their state of mind, and it sucks. I don't know how to be a blessing to people who don't realize the signs of the times because all of that they are interested in is their lifestyle and livelihood. Yep. Yep. I've been dealing with that for many years myself, sis. And the only thing you can do is listen. This is going to sound harsh and cold, just like the Old Testament, but there's only one thing you can do, and that's just keep on your own track. If you live your life the way the Bible tells you to live your life will naturally be a beacon. You don't have to do much more than that. You don't have to be a beacon. You just live your life the way God has called you to live your life, as best you can, mind you. We're all horrific sinners. Live your life as best you can, and it will be a beacon of light to those around you. And they'll say there's something different. There's something going on. And the Lord will put it on their heart. Ask them what's going on with them. Talk to that person. He'll put it on their heart, just like the Holy Spirit put it on your heart to talk to whoever you talk to, whoever brought you, whoever God used to bring the Holy Spirit and the Word of God to you. That will happen, right? People will come to you. People will see you. You'll play as a seed in their life that will get water and bear fruit. That's just the promise. Not a maybe, it's a promise. And that's the best you can do. And that seems, again, like a very unsatisfying answer, because we all wish we could do more and be more. But the reality is that everybody has free will. Everybody has the choice to choose God, run away from God, poop on God, hate God. And the more painful things that happen in your life, the more confused you can become, the hardened your heart will become, and the more that you can struggle with God in relationship and knowledge of Him. In fact, sometimes the more people learn about God, the more they dislike Him. You know, the fact that somebody might hear this video today and hear me say, yes, God of the Bible did do that because it was a form of grace. He did tell them to kill an entire tribe of people because it was grace. And then you're like, oh, and as the person in this video mentioned, which I'd love to mention now, it's a little political, but I don't care which kind of trolling fights this is going to start. He mentions in the video that a lot of people use this as a way to, and I think Josh brings this up as well, not as, he just says it's a way that in the video the guy says that people in modern day, Christians specifically, a certain type of group of Christians, not this type of Christian, but a certain type of group of Christians say that it's valid what a certain type of people in the Middle East are doing to eradicate an entire people. And they go, oh, well, it's in the Bible and God told them to do that back then. So they're using that as an excuse to do it now. So that must mean that God is right with that? No, because that was post-Christ. That was pre-Christ. Now we're post-Christ, right? And the Bible actually already tells us that those people will be a thorn in their side until Christ comes a second time or till the end of the world. So this isn't like a secret that this is the thing, like we already knew this. We already knew this going in, like it's in the Bible. So, they just want an excuse to do what they're going to do. They want an excuse to get away with what they want to get away with. And that's that. And that has nothing to do with me. That has nothing to do with you. That has nothing to do with anything. It's just they want what they want. It's like a little kid who wants to beat up the kid to take his toy. You get what I'm saying? So that's not biblical. It's not biblical. What they're saying is not biblical at all. So, and that's a debate everybody can fight on and argue over if they want. I don't care, but it's not biblical to do that now. It was biblical to do it at the time that God told them to. And you're like, well, what's the difference? Everything is the difference. Christ is the difference. The world, technology, understanding, grace, mercy, all those things that weren't in the world at the time are all the difference. So, but that's the thing. You can take it out of context. Evelyn Perkins says, Josh, I'm praying for you. She's not the only one. I'm praying for you too, brother. I appreciate the stern conversation. I need constant reminder to stay focused because I will and do get distracted a lot. So see, It's it may sound harsh, but it's good. I know that what I'm saying is good. It may not feel good right now, but I know that what I'm saying is good. And I know the things I've been saying over the years are good. You know, a lot of people didn't want to hear them when I first said them. I had people leave this ministry for years, and then they came back and go, after I listened to you, I've had multiple people tell me, after I listened to your videos, I left because it was too much for me. So I went and I found a church. I went to that church. I found other people on the internet to listen to and books to read. And they're like, I got pissed at you because you kind of ruined it for me. Like, I couldn't get into it anymore. And I realized one thing: you're the one telling the truth. So now I'm back. Thanks, and I'm sorry I left. I've had multiple people tell me that. And so I do know that the things I've said in the past were hard for people to digest, to the point where they're like, I got to blow this popsicle stand. I got to get out of here. This guy's too much for me. I can only imagine my numbers are going to dwindle from here on out. Or they're going to spike because there's a group of super pissed off people and they're going to rally behind some things that I say. But that's not the reason I'm saying them. So that might be clear, and that might cause those people to not rally behind me. So we'll see. But I'm going to say what I've always been saying, and I'm going to stay on the course I've always been on the course of. And it's not a new course. I've known the end in the beginning. That's why I said many of you won't like me in the end. Eon Veteran says, yes, I've realized that people start to hate on the Father when the full truth is revealed. Yep. Evelyn Perkins says, people love the world more than the truth. Yeah, they love their lives. They don't understand why they can't have both. Why can't I have my life and the truth? Like, why can't I have what I want? You know, why can't I have my cake and eat it too? I've never understood that saying, but everybody kind of knows what it means. Why can't I have my cake and eat it too? What would you do with your cake if you, how do you have cake if you can't eat it? I just think that's one of the dumbest sayings ever. I'm sure some genius thought of it and it has a lot of meaning, but I don't understand it. But you get what it means, so that's why I used it. So that's that. All right. So now we've opened up these cans of worms. We can open up the conversations. Christina, if you're still there, I know you had questions that you wanted to ask. How long? I don't see my time on here. Christina, anybody? We can go to live questions now. 2 hours. We've been doing this 2 hours. All right. Good deal. Live questions. I'm just looking at comments, double checking everything, make sure I didn't miss anybody. Grateful for you all, even if it seems like I'm not. I am. I'm super blessed by you all. Super blessed to be here. And listen, let me say something. I don't want anybody to be afraid to ask questions here. Josh is saying that he's now probably not going to ask questions. He's afraid or something, which I think is going to go away in a few hours when you realize I truly wasn't addressing you. I was addressing the topic. I can't truly answer these things in any other way. I'm a fiery person. I am passionate about the truth. I am passionate about the fact that we are running out of time. I'm passionate about the fact that I've stayed the course all this time. I'm passionate about the fact I've never given up, and I've had a bazillion reasons that some you know, millions you don't know. I could have given up and I didn't. And I'm passionate about the fact that I love God so much because I know he loves me so much more than I can fathom, that I've stuck it to this race. I've stuck to my guns, and I've continued to do this ministry. I love the fact that I left a page with 2.5 million subscribers to go onto a smaller, totally close-knit, private Discord group where it's more intimate and pure and authentic and safe. I love the fact that that wasn't even a hard choice for me. And if you guys are like, well, what took you so long? It was just because I didn't get around to figuring out how to use it. And so, you know, I love these facts that, like, my track record, in my opinion, ministry-wise, is spot on. I'm going to pat myself on the back. My ministry is spot on. My life as a human being, Yeah, I'm a mess. I'm a total mess. But throughout my ministry, I've totally articulated that and kept you up to speed with my mess. I didn't keep it hidden. It wasn't like I have some private life and I just smile on the camera all the time. And so if you feel like a mess, hopefully you feel like you're with the right person here in fellowship, because I'm not going to make you feel like you're broken and I'm not. Right? I genuinely think that I'm probably more broken than almost anybody. And maybe that's wrong, but that's how I genuinely feel, because I think I know better. And because I know better, I know that I'm more accountable. And I know that because I've had so many miraculous supernatural things happen to me, and I've literally heard God my whole life. In the last 5 years, it's been a little dry. He spoke to me here and there, but I've heard God my whole entire life. I have less excuse than 99% of all people who have ever lived, you know? And so that's why I say that confidently, that like I'm a bigger mess than others, is because I have less reasons to be a bigger mess. So, I have always confessed this though throughout my entire ministry career. And so, I love that. I love that. I think God is a genius in that he has made me so crazy and bold to put my dirty laundry out there and to let people know when things are broken and the things I've done wrong. And I get online and I confess my sins and I tell them people like, yeah, I did this and it sucks and it's causing problems in my life now. And this and that and this and that. I love that about me. I love that I did that. It's hurt my life in more ways than I'll ever be able to tell you. And I love that. I love that I stuck to my guns. I love that I've stuck to the EBRT. I love that I've stuck to doing these Q&As for the last 14 years. And again, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but what I'm saying is that like, I know, I know that I am in this for the realest dealest there is. My own life has been my own test of whether I was the real McCoy. And I know I'm the real McCoy. And that means also, unfortunately, if everybody hates me in the end of this, I'm okay with that. It sucks. I'll be sad. But if everybody hates me in the end of this, I don't care, for all the right reasons, because Yeshua is the one I'm responding to, right? And I think we should all have that foundation to us, My family says I suck. My family says I'm a bad person. The community says I'm a hypocrite and a bad person because I'm a Christian, this and that, and I'm a bad da 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 da. And like, yeah, I am. And by golly, I love that I still love Yeshua. Do you get what I'm trying to say? I still love Yeshua. I know I'm broken. I know I suck. I know I could have done things better. I know I hurt people. I'm sorry about that. And I know I'm probably not going to change much, which really makes me feel worse about myself, but I still love Yeshua. You know what I mean? Like, it's not getting me off the hook. I'm on the hook and I feel it more every day, but I still love Yeshua. And I still love that this is my life that I spend with him. I still love that. I still love that even though I've had every reason to quit this life 1,000 times over, and I've had so many people in my life tell me, I don't know how you're still alive. Legitimately, I do not know how you wake up every day. People have told me time and time again, it blows my mind that you didn't kill yourself. And I'm like, the reason is Yeshua. Plain and simple, and it's not some lip service, it's not some of this and that, it's the realest dealest thing. And I hope, and I have no idea, like I said, for all I know, everybody watching this at any time who's part of this ministry right now will be gone in a year from now. Maybe 2. You'll be gone. You won't even want to hear my name, see my face, right? But I hope is that watching me be so raw and honest over the years and still praising Yeshua and still proclaiming Yeshua, and you still watching Yeshua use a broken person like me, you'll think to yourself, Christ is still with me. Especially in the end, when the world will do everything in its might to convince you that if God is real, he's not with you. And he doesn't love you, and you're a bad person, and you're a horrible being and there's no way you're getting into heaven and all those stupid lies. And you'll just be like, maybe, but I still love Yeshua. And he's still the truth. And it has nothing to do with me. His existence is not contingent upon whether I am a good person or not, or whether I'm a holy person or not, or whether I think he's a good God or not. Like, he is. And I know he is. And I love him. And that's it. That's all you stand on. Him. Your hope is in him. Your faith is in him. Your contingencies are on him. You wake up and you suffer and you endure torture and all the stuff because of him, because he's worth it. Not because tomorrow is worth it. Not because there's hope for tomorrow. Not because you're going to see your kids get married and walk down the aisle one day. Like, nothing of that earthly stuff is your hope. Just him. And I know for a fact that, like, I'm not lying when I say that that's all I got is him. And I hope that that is contagious enough that if you end up living in the end times, that somehow, some way, that rubbed off on you. If you didn't have it in you already, it rubbed off on you, and you thought to yourself, that Nathan guy, he used to talk about his life being like this. He used to talk about his life being like, I got no reason to keep breathing except Yeshua. Nobody knows why I am still breathing, but my answer is Yeshua. I'm in that moment right now and have been there for the last 4 years, like in the future. You know what I mean? Like, my hope is that somehow, some way, God uses the totality of the testimony of my ministry as a way to harden the courage and the strength and tenacity of people's faith. So hopefully I gave people time to write life questions. So that's my own pat on my back of how the Lord can use such a broken person as me. Evelyn Veteran says, yes, I've realized that people start to hate on the Father when the full truth comes out. Oh, I read that. My bad. Let's see. Chris7717 says, it is a very Samuel type of talk tonight. Is it? Eon Veteran says, yes, love Samuel. Annie Garcia says, we're blessed to have you, Nathan, and I'm blessed to have you guys. Eon Veteran says, has anyone ever had the experience with the Father and the archangels being shown otherworldly things from time to time? I don't know why he shows me because I feel unworthy. Yeah, I think people have. I know people have discussed it within our group before, but I definitely think it's rare. And I definitely think that's pretty cool that you find yourself unworthy instead of being like, oh, I deserve this. I think that's awesome. I think that your appreciation for it is a beautiful thing. And I love your testimony. Eon Veteran says, like he did with Enoch, he showed me really otherworldly stuff. Amen. And I believe he did it for a reason. If you did have those experiences, I am persuaded that it's for a reason. It's not just, it's not just for fun. I believe it's for a reason. Evelyn Bergen says, it's not easy to be in ministry, especially on social media. I know the hurt it's caused you. Thank you for not giving up, brother. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. And it has. It has caused me a lot. But it has been so worth it. And 90% of me feels bad. Like, I talked about it so much over the years. Like, I feel like I shouldn't have. I feel like I shouldn't have shared everything that I shared. I shouldn't have told you guys as much as I was suffering or what I was going through. But now looking back, I'm so grateful that I did. I'm so grateful that I was an open book with you, even if you don't like it. I'm glad I did, because I do think it's useful. Because I do think that in the end times, I think it will be useful. And I think that people will remember it. I know for me, one of the biggest struggles I had as a new Christian was watching all these super happy, go lucky, perfect life living Christians on TV. It freaked me out. It was actually one of the worst things I think I experienced was watching perfect Christians all over the place. At churches, at worship leading conferences, on TV. It ruined me because I was like, dude, I am screwed. I am up the wrong creek without a paddle because these people clearly have a dose of the Holy Spirit I don't understand. These people just woke up and all of a sudden became holy. Like, I hear the story of somebody who's like, I used to do heroin, and then one day Jesus visited me in my living room when I overdosed, and he walked in, and all of a sudden I became sober, and I just got up. I called my mom, and my mom came and picked me up, and I moved back in with my parents until I got clean, and I never touched the heroin ever again. Cold turkey. Never had sweats, never had drama, and now I'm always like, Jesus is Lord and King, and babies are awesome, and the world is perfect, and here's my beautiful wife, and we only have sex with a hole of a sheet. You know, like they're just like these super amazing, wonderful, holy, bubble wrapped Christians. And I'm like, dude, you're amazing. You know what I mean? I'm like, I didn't get whatever you got hit with. I got hit with like, life sucks, the world is the devil, and I can't wait to go home. That's the Christianity I got. You know what I mean? So like, I don't understand these people. And so I hope that the people who are like me, and I think there's at least one or two of them out there in the world that are just like, dude, I got this world sucks, it's of the devil, I want to go home. I hope that they're like, oh good, there is one out there that the Lord is using to perpetuate the truth and share the totality of the Bible and loves Jesus, he loves Yeshua. There is one. His name is Nathan Wheeler, and he's totally open about it. He hates life. He hates the world. He sat on the edge of his bed for 3 months thinking of all the possible ways he could kill himself without killing himself so he could go home. And it took 3 months for him to get out of that and start functioning in society again. And he's open about it and talks about it, and that depression hasn't actually fully left him. He still just wants to go home every day, home to Yeshua. Right? So it's like, I don't know. I wish there was a me when I was a new Christian, I'll tell you that. Has anyone ever had the experience with a father that... Oh, I read that. My bad. It's not easy to be... Oh, I read that too. The thing must have scrolled. And Annie Garcia, the real ones won't hate you. I think so. But, you know, if I say that, I sound like an egomaniac. Eon Veteran, note, Father willing, I'll still be online here with Yeshua Network and you, Nathan. Praise the Lord. Annie Garcia, yes, please, Yeshua, right? Man, more Yeshua, please. Evelyn Perkins, your reward is not in this world, brother. It is absolutely not in this world. Hallelujah. Eon Veteran says, well, I have severe anemia, basically zero oxygen. I shouldn't be alive, but I am. Father keeps me alive supernaturally. Hallelujah. Now that's a testimony. Doctor was shocked and said, I need to be on a iron drip permanently. Eon, Veteran, you're a walking miracle. Come on. Come on. Get that testimony out there. You got to share that. Come on. Evelyn Perkins says, I have a little question. Okay, I'll be gentle. How are we supposed to collect rainwater to drink if it's illegal, and especially now they're trying to rash in the water? Yeah. Bury your rain catching jugs in the ground. Now I put it out there so they're going to catch. But that's what you got to do. You got to put the rain catching unit in the ground so they can't see it. And then just make it look like your rain pipe goes in the ground and through a pipe or something like that. You know what I mean? You can't let them see it. But nowadays they have technology where they can see everything. They can take a picture of your house and see where you are. They can see if you're wearing clothes. Like, they can see everything. So, but still, just put it in the ground. Before the world hated you, now know it hated me first. Exactly, Chris. Exactly. Feared Horizon. It's only illegal if you get caught in California. Exactly. Yeah, there's not too many other places that have it illegal to catch rain, but there is. The other thing you can do, instead of catching rain, which I'm sure they're going to make this illegal, but if you act fast enough, hopefully, you could get one of the thing, I can't remember what it's called. I don't know why. My brain is fried today. It's always fried. Because by the time I get to making these videos, I've already had a whole day. The thing where you take the air and you capture the air and then you turn the air into water. That thing. It's like a dehumidifier. but you're turning it specifically into drinking water, and it filters it and it mineralizes it and all that stuff. You can get them for like $3,000, like good ones that will actually produce you enough water, like water your garden, take showers, all that stuff. They'll create like something like 360 gallons a day for like $3,000. You could get one. But the thing is, think about it like this: you'll never, ever, ever need to capture rainwater. Not to jump ahead of our EBRT, but also remember this: all bodies of water in the future will become polluted. At some point, all the waters, the rivers, the oceans are going to turn to blood. So, water's probably only going to be drinkable from either ancient, like, wells, like ancient cisterns, or turning air into water. There probably won't be any other way to drink water. Yeah. So, what do you mean by people are going to hate what I'm going to say in the end? Is it not in the Bible, or is it, but you think we will miss it? I like that my green screen blocks this out, so I don't have to worry about like hiding brands. I needed water. My throat is so parched. It's biblical, but let's face it. There's a lot of things I've said over the years where people are like, "That's not right. That's not nice." Like that type of thing. I can't say it yet. We're not there yet, but the time is coming. It's coming. Eon veteran. The rain is blessed in Africa. Toto song. That's a good song. Fear Horizon. That sounds amazing. I've never heard of that. Yeah, they're pretty awesome. I can't. Why? It's a total known device. Like for me, I know the name of it. I just what it does. Dehumidifier. But anyways, it's a thing. Yeah, it turns water. You can make them. By the way, you don't need to get a $3,000 version. You can make it cheaply for yourself too. Here's how you do it. What you do is you create a container with a glass top. You put some type of water bucket inside this box, and you put like foil or something all the way around the box, right? And something as cheap as foil. And you can make it with basically like cheap wood. It doesn't need to be fancy at all. And you could take like an old window or like, one of those like old, playhouse windows, that are just, it doesn't even have to be like good glass. And what you do is especially if you put the water in like a silver bowl or some type of reflective material as well, what will happen is that you have this rain catching like unit where the water will basically distill, and so the heat will come through from the sun. It will turn the water into vapor, and then the water will cool and get caught on outside of the bowl, and then it will run down a tube, and you catch it, and then you just boil it to remove all the germs and bacteria and stuff. But it's pretty clean water. So you can always do that. And that's like a zero cost, virtually zero cost type of thing. But if you can get some type of solar system and you can have one of these machines running for you, it'll create a bunch of water for you, and it has the ability to mineralize it as well, so your minerals go back into it, where if you just distill water, it removes a lot of the minerals, so you'll lose the mineral, which means you'll have to somehow find a way to input the mineral back in. Otherwise you will literally distilled water is better than no water, but the problem is that you'll have to find some type of way of creating electrolytes and salt, sodium in the water so that your body keeps the water and it doesn't just flush you out. You can actually quote unquote drown from bad water. It'd take a long time unless you drink like 10,000 gallons in a day. I think it's actually like 3 gallons in a day, but it'll take a long time to drown your body on a cellular level, but it can happen. So you got to make sure that you have a bunch of salt. And if you have salt that has a lot of minerals in it, like Baja something, there's a salt called Baja something. It has a lot of minerals in it. Also, one of the best salts that you can get is like I think it's called Celtic salt. Something to do with like the Irish. And I'm not just saying that because I love the Irish stuff. Like there really is like a salt that's really, really high in nutrient. A lot of people will say pink Malaysian salt. Pink Malaysian salt is good, but it's not good for like all the minerals and things that you need. It's good for like other stuff. But yeah, those are the two salts. Baja something and something Irish, Celtic, something or other. I have no idea why I'm blanking on these names. This is stuff I know off the top of my head any other day of the week. But for some reason, I'm blanking on it right now. If you add that stuff. Baja Gold, sea salt. Thank you, Jack Quinlevin. Appreciate you. What do you suggest on where to start for someone still completely dependent on systems of the world, works a corporate job, does not own a home, have gardening, farming skills, etc., etc.? Very good question. So, do you live in an apartment? Or do you live in a home? Either way, stock up. So this is a long conversation, but it's probably one we need to start having, which is why I did create the elevated prep channel. In case you guys don't know it's there, it is there. Videos are coming. I got a table, I got lights, I got books, I got new equipment I'm going to be showing you guys. New little things. I've been collecting them all so I can make these videos for you guys and talk about the stuff we're talking about right now. Hopefully nobody minds it, even though this is Yeshua channel. But you guys have all asked me to start talking about this stuff, and this is a live Q&A. You ask me, I'll answer it. Okay, so here we go. Yes, an apartment. Okay, I'm going to answer, and you can just think I'm weird. A lot of this is going to be taken out of context. You're going to think I'm weird. So if I lived in an apartment, which I did most of my life in LA, it wasn't until like at the end that I lived in a house, a small house. But most of the time in LA, I lived in an apartment always. Oh, no, in the beginning, I lived in a house. I don't want to lie because people say I lie too much. I don't lie. And I don't exaggerate. So I did live in a house in the beginning. I lived in a house at the end. And then I lived in an apartment the other time. Here's what I would do. I would literally remove a lot of my furniture if I had a lot of furniture. And I would literally put like shelves in my house, and then I would have like shelves that either close like with doors, or I would have shelves where I would do like this drape over it. And I would do that just so not everybody could see everything that's in my house, and they would all think I'm really weird if anybody ever came over. But I would fill my entire house full of shelving, full of supplies. And I would put all the most important supplies, like the life-saving supplies, in my bedroom, and because nobody's going in there, you know what I'm doing? And if I could, I would get a 2-bedroom apartment, and I would use the second bedroom as just a storage unit. And so that's what I'm doing with the house that I'm in now. So I'm using certain rooms as total storage units. They're just packed full of stuff, right? And I actually have like this upstairs game room, and I'm going to put rows of shelving in it, and I'm just going to basically make my house look like a store, like a tractor store kind of thing, like where you go in and there's shelves and then there's just stuff on the shelves. So my house is not going to feel probably too housey to people. It's going to basically probably feel like a warehouse with a bed and a dining room table and a couch in it. It's going to be weird. But I think that that's the best way to go, especially if you don't live on some type of property where you can grow your own food or have your own chicken and eggs and things like that. And what I would do is I would stock up on, survival food, beans, rice, dry foods, frozen, what's called? Freeze dried foods. Specifically, freeze dried is better than dehydrated foods, because freeze dry, you keep like 98% or 80% of the nutritional value, and you just add water, right? And as long as you have some way to catch water, then your food will always be edible, So that's what I would do. I would literally turn my apartment into a non-apartment, and I would drape it with shelves in every single part of it, and I would just stack it. And I just wouldn't really care if people came over and hung out anymore. I would go hang out at their house. That's me though, but I would understand one thing. And I've been starting to say this in my videos, and I'm going to continue to say it more and more. I would understand one thing. For those of us who don't have the ability to perpetually grow our food or perpetually like have livestock that keeps going and growing and giving us resources, right? We're basically on a clock. And we just have to understand that, like we're just extending our existence and our time that we can be a light on the earth. So, for instance, if you have the ability to store up 2 years worth of food, then be of that mindset. You know, I got 2 years worth of food that allows me to stick around for my family, my friends, my significant other, my children. You know, I'm giving us 2 more years of celebrating God and being a light on the earth, and see those 2 years as God allowing you as a way to be a light on the earth. You know, be a witness that God is real. Warn people, tell people, give them the prophecy perpetually during those 2 years specifically, right? Like, tell people, listen, this is in the Bible. He said this was going to happen. This is what's coming next. So, you know, you heard it from me before it happens. Like, if that's what I think people who don't have the ability to perpetually, you know, get their food or capture their food or grow their food should be doing. You know, and I wouldn't necessarily, during those 2 years, I wouldn't be super social. You know, I would probably figure out who you know and who is safe, and I still wouldn't even tell everybody about what you have. I'd stop inviting people over, and I definitely wouldn't show everybody your stuff. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have people over and be like, look at all the stuff I have because I'm preparing for the end of the world. I would just stop having people over. And I know for a lot of people, that's like a total wrench stuck in the front wheel of your motorcycle. Like, it just is, it's going to send you over the handlebars and you're going to face plant right into life. You know what I mean? I get that. This isn't the kind of talk that people want to hear when they come onto like a Christian page or something like that. But the reason I'm talking this way is because, as I've said in videos in the past, I think it's better to be thinking about the truth and the reality to come before it happens, because when it happens, you won't be sideswiped by it and you won't be as scared by it. I'm not saying you're not going to be scared. I'm not saying you're not going to be nervous and wondering, am I going to make it through this? I'm terrified of what's coming. This is not going to be fun. This is going to be horrible. But if you are at least somewhat prepared, it allows you an adjustment period. While everybody else is frantic, while everybody else has to steal or rob or submit to the system to survive, you at least have bought yourself, let's say, 2 years to figure out where you stand, to figure out what you're made of, to figure out what direction you're going to go. And by that time, if a whole bunch of people have died off, which they will have, the Bible tells us, I mean, from the Sixth Trumpet War, 1/3 of the world's population is going to die. After that, you got another fourth of the world is going to die from famine, and another fourth is going to die from pestilence. And then, like, you know, it's not telling us about all the people who are going to die from just humans going absolutely crazy and killing each other and robbing each other and committing crimes against each other. You know what I mean? So you do the math. A third, a fourth, and a fourth. I mean, you're left with like not that many people on Earth, really, like in the scope of things. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there's going to be stuff that opens up. There's going to be land that opens up. There's going to be, you're thinking to yourself, oh, well, there's going to be billions of people fighting for the same deer or the same squirrel or the same, I don't know, possum to eat. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not. In the beginning, you will be, but most humans don't know how to capture those things. Most people don't know how to hunt those things. No, most people don't know how to process those things. And in a way, that's good for the people who do. You know what I mean? There might be an all-out, you know, eat fest and all that, but animals will survive. And then they'll thrive because there's nobody to kill them. You know, in America, we have a deer problem. There's too many deer. Like, there's not enough deer being killed. Now, granted, deers have ticks, deers have diseases. Now there's a brain disease in deers. I can't remember what it's called, CDM, MCD, LMNOP, who knows? But it's something where their brains go, and you're not supposed to eat them. So, you know, mad cow disease, but for animals, for live animals or wild animals, deer. So, you know, you're going to know this stuff. You're going to learn this stuff, whether you like it or not, if you have that 2 years to pay attention, you know, to stalk the world around you. Stalk it like a lion, not stalk it up, you know? So that's my advice, is like, give yourself 2 years, and that's 2 years of adjusting. You know what I mean? And if you're an apartment dweller, get 2 years of survival, and then get tools that will, if you leave the apartment, that you'll have the ability to have an easier way, like something that captures rain, something that filters rain, something that is a design where you can use natural materials to filter water, you know, a life straw type of technology that I have that I'll show you that you can perpetually clean. Where like some life straws, they get you got to throw them away because they'll get clogged up eventually. Like having one where you can clean it and unclog it, or have easy replacement parts for it, you know, that you can carry with you and it's super light. You know, these are the type of things that I would stock up now. And you're thinking to yourself, but I'm going to be in an apartment. You're not going to always want to be in an apartment. You know what I mean? You're eventually you're going to want to venture out, but you need to be prepared. So, but that's what I would do. I would turn my house into shelves, and I would just start stocking up on all the stuff that I want. And I'd be buying, I would never buy anything at the grocery store ever, unless it was just like I had to go get one carton of milk or something like that. I would never buy anything that's not in bulk. And I would either team up with family or friends. I would get a Costco or Sam's Club membership if you're in America. Sorry for anybody who's not. I don't know what you have outside of the United States, but for those of you in the United States, I would go to some type of big box store and I'd buy everything big box. You're saving a ton of money and you're going to get a lot more bang for your buck. And your food experience might become significantly more bland. You got to start buying spices and stuff, I guess. Like spice up your rice dishes. I don't know. But, you know, this is what I would suggest for anybody who's living in an apartment is start realizing that, you know, you're not going to be able to travel. You're not going to be able to drive your car away anywhere. You're not going to be able to drive and not probably get captured either by the government or by the people who want to rob you. So you definitely don't want to drive your car around full of all your stuff, especially in like the first, I would say 90 days specifically. According to studies, like most people in the modern world, like the moment, like let's say like electricity goes out or the grid goes down or for whatever reason, a hack, an EMP or something like that, most people are going to die within the first 90 days. So as long as you can last past 90 days, and this isn't my opinion. This is like everybody who's done research and all the experts. They'll say the same thing because people don't know how to survive past 90 days. The truck stopped, the grocery store is empty, the water turns off, you know, the heat turns off. Like most people can't survive past literally 90 days. They'll have 90 days to live. So as long as you can pass 90 days, you know, you're gonna have houses at least full of equipment and tools and things like that you can go and resource. But for those who do survive, and they see you and you got a whole bunch of stuff, you're a target too. So you just have to hunkering in rather than exploring out is my first suggestion for everybody. But it's even apartment dwellers. But like I said, just consider yourself, you're buying time. You know, you're just giving yourself a little bit longer to figure out your heart, to figure out what's possible for you, and so on and so forth. And if you just are real with yourself about that, I think you'll be at peace about it. Whereas everybody else in that 90-day period is not going to be at peace. They're going to be in mayhem, which is why I believe the AC guy is going to be seen as a hero, because they're going to create a system that allows people to stop freaking out. And that's why everybody will be like, here, put it on me. I'll take it. Just save my family. What other choice do I have? Right? So it's not like he's going to be pinning people down, being like, you must take this mark on your skin or else I'll chop your head off. No, everybody's going to be begging for it. And why? Because the world will starve or dehydrate or lose their homes, whatever, without it, right? So I don't know. And I know I'm saying, well, if I get kicked out of my apartment, I can't pay my bills. You're like, yeah. That's why I'm saying to have stuff that you can take with you at least. Like, you know, maybe get a car, a truck with a hatch on it or something. Like, these are the things you have to start thinking about. And you're like, well, that's not conducive to me now. I understand. Start riding an e-bike for going to work and start parking your truck and just keeping it stocked and ready to go. You know what I mean? Like, these are the type of mentality changes that I would recommend. And again, none of these things are going to be a guarantee. You're just increasing your odds to give yourself more time, right? Feared Horizon says, can stuff start canning any food you get yet? Maybe a good start. Yeah, absolutely. If you know how to can food, that's a great start. That's a really good start. And knowing how to have that skill set could help you stay alive significantly longer, especially if you have like the material to do it without plugging in, right? Like, so if you have the ability to put it over a fire and do it that way, or something like that. If you have a solar generator that you can carry around with you, and solar panels that are strong enough for you to do canning, like heat up a boiling water and do canning that way, then cool. But if you also have something where you can just do it on an open fire, then that's very, very good. SD Public Hunter, how would someone get salt without buying it? You'd have to make it. You'd have to either be near the ocean, or you'd have to... There's another way to get salt, actually. What is it? Oh, there's a way to do it from... Hold on. There is a way to mine salt from, like, everyday stuff. I will answer that question in one of my videos. But basically, if you don't live near the ocean, it's going to be significantly harder. But salt is in the earth. It's not just in the ocean. But yeah, you'd have to know like how to mine it or how to process it. But there is a way to get salt out of stuff, which is basically you boil it. And then the thing that's remaining is the salt. And there is a way. I know of a way to do it. Again, I don't know why I'm blanking. What I don't know is I don't know what the thing is that you get the salt out of. I don't know if it's a plant or it's... I have an answer for that question. But yeah, that's a very good question. But I would stock up on salt and tell you, like, I have a bunch of salt, like crazy amount of salt. Because also remember too, salt is in place of refrigeration, right? So if you can't refrigerate something, right, you salt it, and then it doesn't get bacteria and bugs on it, right? You just place it in a bucket of salt, and it just becomes like the pork in Spain, you know? So that's how they did it in the old days. Yeah, that's a great question, SD Public Hunter. Gosh, I wish I had that memorized. Is Redmond salt not a good one? I don't know Redmond salt. It might be. I just Google high mineral salt, because not all salt has a lot of mineral in it. And then there's salt that has iodine added, and that's because we don't have iodine in our diets. And that's a good thing to have, especially in the end time too, is having iodine. But salt, I think in itself should normally have iodine. It's just not as much as back like in the ancient days. But yeah, we need more iodine too. So, but I also have iodine drops and iodine pills, and I have the iodine too for like radiation. That's a different type of iodine, by the way. It technically is the same, but there's a dose that you use to basically override your thyroid. So when everybody else is getting radiation poisoning, your thyroid isn't absorbing the radiation because it's filled with iodine. So some people don't understand how iodine works. They think like the iodine flushes, and that's not how iodine works. What iodine does is it floods your thyroid so that you don't absorb the radiation. So that's what you want to do. You want to flood your thyroids with iodine when there's a radiation issue. And you should have a radiation monitor thing. You just should. I mean, again, these things cost money, but they're getting cheaper though. In the old days, you used to pay like thousands of dollars for one. I think you can get them now for like a good one for like $100-something bucks. So, you know, I think about like this, you guys, like how much does a cell phone cost? Modern cell phones, like a good one, is anywhere from $800 up to $1,500, right? So if you can, of course, the cell phone companies give you updates and then they ruin your cell phone. I'm totally aware of that. Everybody is. But if you just think about how much you spend on your cell phone, if there's a way for you to stop accepting updates, you know what I mean? Like, so that they don't ruin your phone at some point, and then you can have your phone significantly longer. You know, the less phones you buy, the less, I don't know, whatever you buy that's something that you don't need to buy. Coffees, you know, I started doing like, I like bubbly water. You'll see I was drinking bubbly water right here, but that was just because I have to get my new canisters. So I bought this as a temporary patch from Costco. But I like to do the canisters. What's it called? and then I just fill up my own container with the bubbly, and then I just use water, like filtered water, you know. And I buy my 5-gallon filtered waters, and then I have a spout, and I put it in the thing, you know. Like I myself am practicing the things I'm preaching here, so, and it's a little bit of an inconvenience, but it also works. You save a lot of money. These tips you are sharing is tactical strategy, but it creates calm, and it's very important. Well, thank you, Eon. I agree. Jack Quinn, is that part of the reason you moved to Tennessee, strategically speaking? 100% the reason I moved to Tennessee. 100% the reason I moved to Tennessee was everything I'm talking about. Laws, they're very gun friendly. They're very Bible friendly. The Bible is the state book. So in order for the Bible to be illegal in Tennessee, you'd have to get Tennesseans to agree to outlaw the state book. That's why I moved to Tennessee. The second reason, or the first reason, is guns. They're very gun-friendly state. Second reason is the Bible. You think it's the other way around, but I have the Bible up here, so that's not a huge problem for me. And I got a bunch of small little Bibles that I can fit in my pocket. Some of you have seen them. And then the third reason is the people. The people down here are the people who know how to survive off the land. They're salt of the earth people. They're amazing. They're humble. They love God. Even if they're not my type of Christian, they're Christian, and they're just like they're also very American. And I would never live anywhere that isn't very, very American. And Tennessee is one of the most American states. And it has some of the best American stories. And the reason why it's called the volunteer state, in case nobody knows, is Tennessee is notorious that when America is in need of people going to go fight, they're notorious for overproducing people who are ready to fight for this country. And that's the type of state I want to live in. So try to find the story online of why Tennessee is called the volunteer state. It's quite inspirational of a story. The story of why they're called the volunteer state is absolutely awesome. But yeah, and the water, some of the water is polluted now, but there's tons of water here. It rains, at least in central Tennessee, it rains every 8 to 9 days without like nobody here has sprinklers on their yard. I've never seen a sprinkler system on a yard here. It rains so frequently, and everything here is insanely green. And so if it comes to catching rain or having enough humidity in the air for the water machine I was talking about, the air water machine that I was talking about, there's so much water here that you'll never be without water unless the whole global ecosystem changes, which is possible, but at least you're increasing your odds. But yeah, and the taxes. There's no income tax here. And the taxes are low, and the life of living here is low. People here in Tennessee will say it's gone up dramatically, but as somebody from California, life of living here is super low. So, super low. For me, it's super low, comparatively to LA. Just in case anybody's wondering what I mean, the average income to be upper middle class in LA is $180,000 a year per person. The average income for somebody to be like middle class here in Tennessee is anywhere from like $48,000 to $55,000. Do you see the difference? So like you can live middle class here on like, if you want to be like really good, like upper middle class, you probably want to make like 75,000. But to just live like a human being in LA, like have the ability to go on a vacation once or twice, eat at a nice restaurant here and there, go and do things, have your car and park it everywhere, you have to make like $180,000 a year. And that's not my numbers. Those are like the numbers that are known and statistically there. So the difference is quite dramatic. As much as people complain about the prices here, now it's still significantly better. But yes, so that is the reason I moved to Tennessee. Eon Veteran says, Father says the humans are going to be so few and links it with a very rare stone called Ophir. Don't know the spelling. They are became rare like Ophir. Yeah, yeah, it makes sense to me after reading the Bible. There's not going to be a whole lot of people left. Jack Quinlevin. Are you Jewish? Levin? That's like a Jewish name. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Eon veteran, AC is bad news. He is hostile to father. Yes, he is bad news. AC doesn't mean air conditioning, by the way. Most humans will love the AC because of his solutions. Exactly. Catherine, 1919, maybe the rocks. It is rocks. It is rocks that you get the salt from. But I'm trying to think of how you get it out. I'm going to figure this out. It is rocks, but which rock? Clay? No. It's something abundant. Salt's everywhere. Salt is everywhere. There is a way to get it, though. Eon Veteran says another natural disinfectant and cleaner is wood ash to wash yourself with, including your hair. Yep. And I collect all my wood ash from my fire pit that I have, and I store it in bags to keep it dry and humid, away from the humidity. And then that way I'll have a stockpile of wood ash, so I don't need to burn a fire to signal all the people around me, and I can use the wood ash to bathe with and wash with. So it's a very good thing to have. Yep. Very, very good, Eon Veteran, 100%. SD Public Hunter, I thought maybe you can get sat from the meats or fat burn, but I'm not sure. You would think, but you wouldn't want to take it out of it, though. You want to absorb it when you eat it. Unless it's a meat you don't want to eat. I feel like you could do that, but it is SodaStream. Thank you, Catherine, 1919. SodaStream. What is wrong with me? But yes, SD Public Hunter. It is the rocks. You got to get it out of the rocks somehow. But I feel like there's a plant that pulls it out. I feel like it's a plant, but I might be totally wrong. I may be. Who that says, love that. Yeah, Tennessee. Praying for a miracle for Washington State. Washington State's another good one, but the politics there is a little rough. Haha, no German Irish. Oh, are you? Okay, gotcha. German Irish. Okay, gotcha. Well, Irish. Close enough. If you believe the bloodline thing. Josh says, I really can't face the end time stuff. I just won't know what to do. Well, that's why I'm here too. I help you. You can know what to do. I've been preparing for the end times for 25 years, my brothers and sisters. 25 years. No exaggeration. 25 years, every single day of my life, I have been preparing my mind and my heart and my studies for the end times. So again, I'm not claiming to be an expert in all things or anything, but I have enough knowledge, and I'm going to do enough to at least start you on the path so that you don't feel overwhelmed with the new channel. Elevated prep. Here, I'll put it in right now. The microphone is in the way. If you're wondering why is it taking me so many buttons to send this, it's because the microphone is in the way. I keep having to go back. Ah, salt rocks. Salt rocks, yeah. Oh, I gotta get that one though. The salt. How do you get salt? Man, there is a way to do it though. I was shocked myself. It's bothering me because I totally know this. It's like asking me, how does a toilet work? You know what I mean? Like, I know the answer. This is something I should know. But anyways, there's that. Yeah. Well, just grind the rock, add liquid, food alcohol, and strain it. And when the clear liquid dries, you have salt. Voila. Is that it, Eon? I think you're right. Add liquid, food alcohol. I think there is something like that. I figured out how to make penicillin too. It's pretty easy. Easy-ish. Catherine, 1919. Interesting. My husband started buying freeze-dried food by the bulk, and we were discussing how to do the rainwater thing. Haven't figured it out yet here in Florida. Oh, yeah, you guys got lots of rainwater too. He definitely, well, I mean, there's a bazillion ways of doing it. I'll show you one of the books I bought. And I bought it because it's a very famous book. So Again, not like I'm a pro, but I'll try to point you guys to this. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go get this one book. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. Okay. These. Oh. My green screen's gonna fall over on me. All right. Check it out. These are all the new books I just bought. These are all the new books I just bought for the prep channel. So these are books that I know I would say 70% of everything that's in these books. But it's not enough to know it. You gotta have it, like, you gotta know how to do it exactly. So this book right here is a great one to start. If you're wanting to capture rain and you want to know like what you need to actually do to capture it, clean it, and have it be processed and make it like a real deal. This book is very famous. It's very simple. Basically, a lot of the YouTubers you see where they're building stuff, they won't give credit to it, but a lot of it came from this book. So it shows you really good like layouts. And then there's other stuff like, I mean, I have so many books. I'm going to go over these. I'm going to go over them with you. This book, this one might be too much. This might be too much. This is too much for most people. Hold on. There's one more. Hold on. Like this one here is also a very famous book. You guys know this one? So this book has a lot of that stuff in there too. Rain catching systems, piping, using your water heater as a backup water source to drink, batteries, gardens, how to grow them. There's all sorts of stuff in here. Like these two books are books I'd probably start with. Those are like really, really just like, here's what you need. You know what I mean? So, and I'm not affiliated with any of these books. These are books I've done my own research on and all that type of stuff. And I want to cover them. I want to go through stuff in them with you, highlight stuff that I think is important and where you should start, all that type of jazz. You know what I mean? Okay, cool. I feel y'all will show us and bring us people in our lives to get through. Evelyn Perkins. I hope so. I don't know exactly what you mean by that, but I mean, he might be also putting somebody like me in your life or other people saying, hey, get ready and learn or buy the books and put them in and get it in paper, paper version so that you don't need electricity to use it. And he might be doing that too, saying, like Joseph, he showed up and he's like, this is what we have to do for the next, so many years so that we can survive for so many years. It wasn't like God just had people arrive with extra grain and stuff. You know what I mean? Again, I'm not shooting down what you're saying, but I'm just saying that might be the case for some people, but it also might not be the case for some people. Catherine 1919 says, interesting, my husband started. Oh, there you go. So that was the question I was responding to with the book. Sarah Peterson, hi guys, can't stay because the Bible study, people lingering, but thought I'd say hi. Blessed to have you here with us. Robert Espinaza. Hello, Nathan. I'm curious. Did you ever finish your original testimony? The one with those multiple parts. Just unaware. It's good where it's at, but there is more to come. The next part is a very, very difficult part for me to share, which is 9C. 9C is the next one that comes. And I had just not been in a place to tell it. It's probably the second darkest part of my life, and it has to deal with the Christians who betrayed me and hurt me. Some people have heard the story, but to put it in the testimonial series, I've been praying for many, many years on if I use people's names and I tell the details of what happened, or if I soften it up and I leave it more general. And I haven't really gotten a full answer on it. And I haven't been in a mental state where I could healthy tell the story and not have it negatively affect me. So that's the reason why 9C hasn't come out yet. Josh says, like, I don't know if I want to survive in a place like this. It sounds horrible. Horrid. Yeah. Again, but I'd find a way to be killed. Yeah. From what we are discussing, it won't seem hard to do. No, it won't be. I mean, I think about that too. Like I'm 50-50. Like I think of ways to basically get killed so I don't have to kill myself. I think of ways to get killed by the enemy, and a way that I'll get killed so it's not lingering or torturous. And, you know, I mean, I don't think that, I mean, it sounds dark, but, you know, if you talk to soldiers who get captured, right, they know they're going to get captured. So, you know, they have to either figure out a way to not get captured. And if they don't get captured and they should be able to survive without getting captured, then they know how to survive. That's good knowledge to have. But then they should also have the knowledge that if they do get captured or they do come across the enemy, then they don't get captured and they just die. Right? Like, so it is a very soldierish mindset that, you know, I'm talking about here. And you are going to battle. Remember, the Bible says, put on your armor of God, you know, sell everything you have and go get swords. You know what I mean? Like, we are in the era of, you know, it's a battle now. It's not, you know, it's not a cakewalk for us. So I think I think your mindset on that sentence is completely right. I think that's how everybody should be. Who that says, will you go over scenarios like if your stuff gets taken, burned down, etc., you get kicked off your property because but you are going to pay, so basically surviving on foot? Yes, I'm definitely going to cover that. And what you do for that is you bury double of the things you have. Like, you buy 2 of certain things as you can in time, and you bury them, like in the forest, in places, and you have certain markers or certain, you know, things that you can see and nobody will know it's there. And what you do is you bury these, there's a name for them. They're like little stashes, right? But there's a word for it, of stuff that, you know, you have tools specifically that you would use to survive: knives, axe, saws, fire starters, clothes, you know, in case your clothes get taken from you or you get robbed, and that way you have a pair of clothes to keep you warm and dry. You have some type of shelter, a tarp, you know what I mean? You have water catching systems, life straws, you know, stuff that you can immediately get water with. So yeah, you would have these things hidden, like in places that nobody is at, you know what I mean? Like, or you would just have them hidden and buried in places. And so, yeah, you should totally do that as well. But yes, I will be covering stuff like that as well. Catherine 1919, oh, okay, nice. Evelyn Perkins, I bought a book on the road maps in the United States, Mexico, and Canada, and don't know if I need it though. Thought like the GPS won't work. Exactly, none of that. But if you have a GPS, they have you. So having a map with all the roads is very, very important to have. And, you know, experts would tell you to keep buying it like every year, every 2 years, keep buying it so that way it's updated. And if the poop hits a fan and you got to lose it, then fine. There is a way, my brothers and sisters, to have all this on a device that's untrackable. You can have the entire world's knowledge on a small handheld computer. And I'll be covering that as well. And it's not trackable. They won't be able to sense it. It doesn't have internet access. It's just like a little handheld computer that will give you all the world's knowledge. It's about this big. Hold on a second. This is super dusty. Shows you how much I clean my desk. Jeez. That was embarrassing. It's about this big, right? So this is a hard drive, like one of those small laptop hard drives that you just carry around. But there's a computer that's maybe a little bit more square of this, and it has its own little television monitor on it, and it literally looks like a little Windows. It's not Windows, but it's like this big, and it's little Windows, and it has the entire world's like knowledge on it. And you can literally take this thing with you anywhere, and it has a battery in it, and if that battery goes bad, you can plug it up to like one of those external batteries, and you have all the world's knowledge on this thing. And you can literally, like, there's places you can just go and you can download everything on it. I don't know how long it takes, but it might take a long time, but you just download everything on it. And you can carry that little bad boy with you. So technology has gotten so smart that you can carry that thing with you. And as long as you have power, I mean, it's not a good thing. You should have it in a book too, especially maps. Maps you should have in a book format, laminated paper that if it gets wet, it won't ruin it. That's also really important with your map. But yeah, I'm going to cover those type of little computers. I'm going to tell you what they are, where you can find them, where you can download the information, and all that jazz. And also, I'm going to cover stuff like what cell phones you can get that aren't on the grid. There's little walkie-talkie cell phones that use cell phone SIM card. So even if the whole world goes to poop, but you still want to be able to talk to your children or your family members, you can literally make a call with this walkie-talkie that uses SIM cards. So there's all this stuff out there that is available now that it's not really obviously mainstream public knowledge, but it's there, and it's really not that crazy expensive. So, I mean, you add it all up, it's going to get crazy expensive. But you can just kind of decide what order of importance things are to you. You know what I mean? Sharon Lewis just saying hi, woke up at 3 a.m. and wondered if it was still going. Oh yeah, you know these Q&As. Who that says, got any books for herbal medicine like plant, flowers, berries? All of them. I got all those books. Let me see if one of them is here. So this one, the SAS Survival Guide. So this one has in the beginning, is it this one? Oh no. No, this isn't it. Hold on. Which one is it? Hold on. I have so many books. These are the books I just bought. Oh my gosh, where is it? Is it this one? Oh my goodness. I don't even know. One of these books has all the plants and all this stuff in it. I don't know where it is. But I have the other one that's the famous one you see all over the internet. That you make all the remedies from like you can make all like the supplements or whatnot. No, not supplements, but supplements. Yeah, like all the medicines from natural. I have that book too with the pictures. So it has pictures of everything. You guys know the book I'm talking about, right? You know it. If you saw it, you knew it. Hold on, I'll tell you the name of it right now. You guys know. Somebody knows. You guys know. Hold on, I'm gonna check. That's probably the book. These three books are probably the books I'd get first. I have it in my Amazon order list. It is called... Oh, I didn't order it on Amazon? I thought I did. Wow, I have a lot of books. They're all survival books. Bushcraft is a good book. Okay, Natural Audubon Society Field Guide. They make a variety of them. I cannot thumbs up those books. They're like famous. National Audubon Society Field Guide. And I guess mine are North America, so that may not help you guys. I guess you'd figure out a book like that, like ask Google what books are like that for your area, and it will tell you every plant and what it does and what it looks like, and it'll have color pictures. It's pretty amazing. What's the book that I'm talking about, though? I can't believe I don't have it on my Amazon. Anyways. What's the brand of the computer called? I have no idea. It's not really a brand. It's kind of like a thing that you buy. And that seems weird. What I mean is it's like a thing where nerds, they did the part making, and then they put it together for people who are preparing for like the end of the world. And so it's not like a brand you go and get at the computer store. You have to buy it from like one of these nerds who makes it. Yeah. I don't know. It has a name though. It's called something like cherry pie, something pie, computer something. It's like Pi is the operating system that's on it, And so the name of it is just the operating system, and then it's a small little unit. It's like, I think it's cherry pie is what I think. It's either cherry pie or something like that. Yeah. I'll find it. Any books or herbs, medicines, time capsule. Time capsule is a good thing, sure. Yep, Eon veteran, that's a good thing. Hide it as a time capsule in the ground. Yeah, it's a stash. It's something stash. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. Time capsule is good. Time capsules try to remember things though, but this is like to survive stash. Sharon Lewis, I got a map, but if I lose my glasses, I won't get far. Yeah, I gotcha. Magnifying glass. You should always have a magnifying glass on you. I have these all over my house and in all over like in my these big magnifying glasses. Not that my eyesight sucks, although sometimes it does when I'm really tired. But the reason I have it is because there are things like if I'm getting a thing like a splinter out of my nail or something like that. But they're really good to have because a magnifying glass in the end is going to be useful for like a whole bunch of uses. So I have these everywhere throughout my house and in all my poop bags. And this particular one, because it has metal and it's really big and it's heavy, but like a magnifying glass, I want a heavy duty one and I want one I can start a fire with. So, and these aren't super expensive, Amazon again, but I have a whole bunch of those. And I have other ones too. I have other magnifying glasses as well, but those are like the ones I really want to have with me if the poop hits the fan. Who do you get it? Where do you get it? You mean? You get it from like online. I'll have to send you links. Ellen Person shared. For the people who need glasses but a few spares in the case of a breakage, exactly. You should have definitely in like a hard case. For sure, that's a very good thing to have. A couple spares in the hard case. For people who need, you can use your glasses to make the fire too. Yeah, if your eyesight's bad enough. And a magnifying glass. My Amazon is ridiculous. My Amazon is ridiculous. It's absolutely out of control. I have stuff saved, stuff like I didn't buy, but I like want to get one day. You guys make those lists too? Where you just, what are they called? Lists. My list is out of control. How many? I'm really glad you can't see my computer screen. That's me scrolling my list. Could you hear that? That's scrolling the names of all the lists that I had. That's not the list. Each one of those is probably longer than that just to scroll each list. It's bad. And then I have to name them. I have A1 gardens, then A2 garden. Then I have like gardens you really will make, gardens you wish you could make. My lists are out of control. It's so silly. Tools. I have tools I bought. Glad it's not just me. No, it's not you. Wish list. Yeah. My wish lists are out of control. But they're good. It's all good stuff. It's good stuff. God bless the world that we live in. You know, as much as silly as it is, it's also for us who are going to prepare. It's you know, there's the chance for us to prepare, as crazy as it is, you know. And if you wait, I wait for everything to go on sale. You know, Cyber Monday and Black Friday. I literally will wait to buy everything I want the whole year for Cyber Monday and Black Friday. I buy almost everything that's expensive in my life on Black Friday. And I save, sometimes I will save like 60% on an item because I waited the entire year to buy it. So, but when you're broke like I am and have been for the last 5 years, you know, when you're broke like that, you got to wait if you want the good stuff. You know what I mean? So people will be like, dang, you got a nice TV. Dang, you got a nice computer. It's like, yeah, I built that thing over time. And each part I waited for like, you know, over the course of 10 years, I waited for, you know, Black Friday to get the next piece and then the next piece and then the next piece. And yeah, if you saw it, you'd be like, dang. You know, but then it's just like, it's old now. Problem is some parts are like 10 years old, some parts are like 2 years old. So I gotta refresh it, I guess. But I built it myself, so it's one of those that I can switch the parts out, except for the motherboard. I mean, I could switch the motherboard out, but I think that's the thing that's starting to go. I haven't, Robert Esperanza. I have not listened in a long time. It seems God has given you wisdom about these subjects. I look forward to hearing more. I'm assuming that is the direction the Holy Spirit has led you. Yeah, I mean, it's all been part of the plan for me. I've known it. I've known that I would eventually get to this. I mean, if you go back to my old original videos and I start talking about the third temple and preparing for the end times, I mean, it's been a long road for me, but I do believe that this is part of my walk and journey for sure. Sharon Lewis says, I started getting the same driver delivering it, and I stopped for a while. Oh, you did? You had your own Amazon delivery guy? Is that what you're telling me, Sharon? That's awesome. You guys are too fun. I love it. I love these Q&As with you guys. You guys are too fun. Oh, man. I love this stuff. So those are the books I would recommend getting, and then the other one. Hold on. I'm going to get it, because let's just say I don't have a video ever again. Hold on a second. Don't go away. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay. This is the other book. So funny you guys can't actually see me moving the green screen. That's so funny. Okay, so this is the other book. Home Apothecary. I don't know if you can see the name. But it looks like this. Home Apothecary, it looks like this. But the actual one is bigger. This, I think, is a ripoff. Meaning that somebody took it, reprinted it smaller, and they're selling it. It's the same book, but I hate to say it, but I wanted the smaller one because if I ever have to run, I don't want to have the bigger book. So the normal size of this book normally is this size of this book. So this is the difference, right? You see? But this is what it normally looks like, this size, which is awesome because if you do have bad eyesight, and it has the pictures of everything in it. I want that version for like home, but I did want the version that's smaller, and I am 90% sure this is some type of criminal making these and telling people it's the real deal, because it's not supposed to be this size, I don't think. But it's her book. Her name is Nicole Apelian. She was on one of the TV shows I love to watch called Alone. She won, actually. She won Alone. Nicole Apelian, PhD. So she's super smart. Super sweet lady. So those are the three books I would say you should have. At least those three books. And then if you plan on living in the wilderness and stuff like that, you should have that book, Bushcraft. And if you plan on bunkering in and staying at your house, you should have this one. Oh, be quiet. And you should have this one by a Navy SEAL. Is this backwards for you guys? Oh, no, it's not. You should have this one if you're going to stay at your house and you live in like suburbia. And if you live on a farm with land, you should have this one. If you have land, I think you should have this one. So those are, and then if you're a guy, I mean, even if you're not a guy, but these are also Navy SEAL books, 100 Deadly Skills. Exactly what's in it is exactly what you think. And then this is the survival edition. And U.S. Army Special Forces Guide to Unconventional Warfare. So I think you should have those if you plan on defending your area. So those are the books I'm starting with, along with the book called Bushcraft, which is a famous book by a guy whose name starts with an M. It's a very old book. He basically kind of mainstreamed bushcraft. So she was in season 2, yeah? I think so. It's 2 or 3. She was like an early one, yeah. But that TV show Alone, the thing about the TV show Alone is I had such high hopes for it. And it's a cool show to watch, but they don't show you actually them surviving. They basically just show you them suffering, which is kind of cool because you should see that. Do you want to know what to watch? If I were to tell you to watch anything to prepare for the end times, do you know what I tell you to watch? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name. The Walking Dead, season 4. The Walking Dead season 4 is the most cinematic made accurate depiction of what end times will look like. Yep. Season 4, Walking Dead. It has nothing to do with zombies in season 4. The enemy in season 4 is humans. It's human against human. So that's why. Robert says, wow, unconventional warfare sounds like spying on the neighbors, just like the doctor ordered. Well, name it a fair. No, it's more like a trap, like a booby trap. It's more like that type of thing. Let's see. Evelyn Perkins, what? What? I don't know what you're whatting, Evelyn Perkins. Catherine, 1919, Names and Afraid? Naked and Afraid? Oh, that one? I haven't watched Naked and Afraid. Sharon Lewis, I saw a program on preppers and how long they'll survive. I thought some were quite prepared, but they got low scores for survival. This was a U.S. program. Yeah. Preppers there was a TV show called Preppers. I think there's another one called Prep something too. The only thing with those preppers in the TV show is that those TV shows are scripted and they tell them what to say and they guide them what to say. And I only know that because I worked in the industry. Naked and Afraid, the show. Yeah. The only thing is like that stuff is all zombies. No, thank you. No. There's not too much zombies in season 4. I would just watch season 4. Like, you don't have to watch the whole thing, but just watch season 4. It's not about zombies. It's about humans trying to survive against humans. Feared Horizon. Have you seen Outlast? Yeah, where the show survival contests as a teams are competing with each other. Yeah, the least moral people sabotage and betray everyone, with everyone barely surviving without food or warmth. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's stuff like that. So Alone also had Alone like teams or something. They did like a season where it was 2 people. I don't know. All these shows, they're not doing it right. They're just not doing it right, and it's kind of bothering me. But there's some YouTubers that I'm gonna be doing like speaking over, like not interrupting, but I'm gonna be showing you on the prep channel, the elevated prep channel. I'm gonna be showing you some of the best people to watch and to learn from. Like I could just give you their channel, but they have made, like me, thousands of videos, right? And my hobby has been watching these videos. Like when people are doom scrolling or watching TV shows, like I watch this stuff in my spare time, which is usually right before bed. It's how I wind down and end my day, is I watch like survival stuff, you know? And so there's some people that deal with surviving in suburbia, metropolitan, and some people surviving in the woods, some people surviving on farms, in homesteads. There's different levels. There's some people who survive like in motorhomes, you know, camping vans, things like that. So there's all these different levels or types of survival, and like I plan on like playing their video next to my head or whatever, and I'll be little, you know, their video will be big and I'll be little, and then I'll stop at a part and I'll say, this is really good information, but this is what I think they're leaving out because it doesn't fit their channel, right? Like that's not what their channel is about. And so I'll interject and add kind of the pieces that I think they're leaving out and how it can be applied by you, or who would use it and why you would use it and what you would add and how you wouldn't add and things like that. You know what I mean? Because there's a difference between being a survival channel or a bushcraft channel or a traveling survival nomad channel, and you want to talk about the stories and that and stuff, you know? And yes, it's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be on the new YouTube channel called Elevated Prep. That's what the new channel is. Does anybody have a link? Jim Hogg, are you watching? Let me see if I can find it for you. 1 second. Let me see if I can find it. I don't even have it memorized, I don't think. Hold on a second. I should. There's no videos on it, so it's probably not coming up is the problem. Yeah, there's no, I haven't made a video yet, so. But it's called Elevated Prep. The link is in, it's on Discord. Ooh, that's where I can find it. Hold on. Hold on. Ah, here it is. Woo! I'm going to put it right here. So if anybody wants to see this channel when I start posting, there it is. I just posted it for you guys. Elevated Prep. And so this is the type of content you're going to see on there. You're going to see other stuff too. I think I'm also going to do some fun stuff on there that's maybe off the beaten path, but it will be still prep. But it's not just like buy this thing and look at this thing. It's going to be also like mindset. It's going to be like spiritual set, but it's not going to be a Christian quote unquote channel. Clearly my faith is going to come out in my dialogue, but it's not going to be a Christian quote unquote channel at all. It's a worldly, secular, prepare for the world, prepare for the next COVID. It's going to be like that kind of thing. And it's going to be, the goal is to, okay, it is working, right? This is working? Okay. Uh-oh. Somebody let me know if you're seeing me okay, because my internet is all weird right now. Anyways, so that's what the channel is going to be. It's a totally new thing, and I hope it blesses you guys. But it's going to help you bypass years of research and things that I've done, and I'm going to make it very digestible. That's exactly what my hope is. I'm going to bypass a whole bunch of knowledge. I see, but you're back. Okay. So, thanks. Appreciate you telling me. I probably said something that triggered them. Some word I used, some phrase I said. Who knows? So yeah, pretty excited about Elevated Prep. It will be good. But yeah, lots coming. So if you think I haven't been working on it just because I haven't made a video yet, you are wrong. I just didn't have a table to do it on. So luckily for me, a friend donated a table to me, a dining room table, and now I can use that to do stuff. I won't be able to put the super heavy stuff on there, but I can at least put like the book on there, and I can sit at the table and like lay things out in front of you. I literally didn't have a table to do that before. So I've been waiting for that and waiting for different lights. These lights are good for this room, but this is like a small office room. The other one is going to be in my dining room. So all this is going to be shot like in my dining room. So I'm probably going to put a green screen behind my dining room, which will look weird if I ever have anybody over. And thinking, like, what's going on with the green screen in your dining room, man? And I'm like, yeah, I'm just preparing for the end of the world to make videos about it. Want to be friends? Oh, I can't imagine knowing me. Oh, anyways. Where do you watch alone? I haven't watched it in years. I think, wasn't it on AMC or something like that? Hold on, let me see. Alone TV show, where to watch. Hulu, Roku channel, History channel, Netflix, YouTube, Apple TV. I used to watch it on Hulu. It says it's also on Disney Plus, Pluto TV, Philo, Philo, the CW, Friendly TV, Amazon Prime. You can do the subscription there. That's where I had it. I would buy it on Amazon. I would buy every season on Amazon Prime. But after like I don't know which one it was, I stopped watching it because it just makes me mad. They're not actually showing people surviving. They're just showing people like, they'll build a thing, but they don't teach you how to build it. They just show a person, they'll build a thing, and then it cuts to them like basically being halfway done, and then it cuts to them being done. And I get it. The show isn't going to be exciting to most people if it's just like the person sitting there sawing wood and then stacking it in rocks, and then, you know what I mean? Like, I get that that won't be interesting to most people, but that's the part that people need to know. You know what I mean? So there's other channels for that. Put black tarpaulin on the floor, that will freak them out too. Tarpaulin? What's black tarpaulin? Black tarpaulin. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I get what you're saying. That's good. I like your sense of humor there, Sharon Lewis. I like your sense of humor there. put out plastic tarps on the ground. Oh, that would be such a mean trick to do to somebody. Oh, I like it. That would freak them out. That's funny stuff, man. That is funny stuff. I like it. Oh, man. All right, what else? You guys got any questions? Or are we done? We're getting late. You guys ready to go to bed? We're at 3 hours, which is our norm. I don't know exactly how many hours, but we're over 3. Yes, anyone who has ever had to saw wood by hand will know how exhausting it is. It's exhausting, which is why I have the saw I have, because it eats through wood really easy. Do you guys remember the saw I have? The what's it called? It's a great saw. This is it. I don't know. I don't want to get it. Keep showing you guys my butt when I walk away. But yeah, we'll be covering all this. I'm going to go over all my different tools, all my different axes, all my different saws, all my different stuff. Each one is for like a different job, a different goal. And I got like electric tools too that I bought when I was on the farm, which was like it was really expensive. I put it on my credit card. It's part of the reason why I have a massive credit card debt. It's because I bought all this stuff on my credit card. But, I thought I was going to be living on the farm for the rest of my life. So I thought it was a good investment. Well, at least many more years of my life, I should say. My hope was that one day I'd buy my own. But, but that was the hope. And then, but I bought like this DeWalt tool set, which is awesome. I have electric saw. I have electric saws, like tree saws, chainsaws. I have electric weed whacker, blowers, lights, pole saws. I got like everything DeWalt has ever made except for a lawnmower. Sharon Lewis says, I realize my back going that if this kind of thing happens to me, I'm going to have problems. This could happen to people with sickness, etc. Yeah, I have back problems. And every time I go out into my yard and I do trimming and I do cutting, my back kills me. I did find two things that is helping my back a lot. That TENS unit that I have is an absolute lifesaver. I know that doesn't help all health issues, obviously, but I'm just saying. Also having a support belt. But yeah, doing sit-ups, keeping your core strong is a big lifesaver. It'll be literally a lifesaver in the end. Thanks, Nathan, and great Q&A. Really appreciating everybody's contribution. I'm going to bed now. It's 4:30 a.m. Oh, geez, Eon, sleep tight. Thanks for being with us. But yeah, I hope you guys know there's the new channel I'm excited about. It's going to be a very different vibe, and I think it might be in ways dark because we'll be talking about preparing for hard times ahead. But I also think it'll be fun because I'll be talking about something that is, for me, it's fun. Preparing for the end, that sounds weird, but it's fun to me. It's my hobby. So like my actual hobby, where like filmmaking was like my passion, my career hobby. Alcohol business was my career hobby. But like my fun hobby for the last 25 years has been prepping. So I'm pretty excited about it. I don't know how good of a channel it's going to be. I'm going to be completely honest with you because I'm not an expert. Like I don't feel like an expert in it, but I do feel like I have a lot of knowledge that majority of the population doesn't have, and I have a good filter ability. Like I have the ability to be like, this is real. This is like if you're super insanely expert level. Like this is the reality. This is not reality. It sounds good. It looks good on film and great, makes for a good YouTube channel, but it's not reality. Like that is kind of what I want to do. And then I also want to talk about, I want to show videos of the world and how people are behaving. And I want to show like the good and how we need more of that and how we need to stay focused on that and how we need to be more proactive in the good side. And then I want to show the negative side and the craziness and the evil of the world, and then talk about like, so what you do to behave to counter this or to be aware of this, or how do you keep your head on a swivel in these circumstances? So it's not just like homesteading, it's not just water, rain catching, it's not just like cutting down a tree and making a cabin. That's like, I don't know, it's going to be all over the place, because preparing for the end of the world is not just catching rain and growing seeds. You know what I mean? So it's going to be all of it. And mentality, social, voting, like I'm going to talk about politics. It's not going to necessarily be like I'm leaning towards a political party. It's going to be I'm leaning towards a political cause. Like, we need to be voting for candidates who don't want to push a digital ID, that is marked on our bodies. We want to pass legislation, at least I want to promoting political leaders who believe that humans should never be marked with no matter how bad things get, humans should never be marked with a digital ID on their bodies, or need their fingerprint or ID of their eyeball in order to purchase or buy or bank. Like, I think those laws need to be put in place now, before it becomes too tempting and too politically damning for a politician to go against the grain of that wood, So those are the type of things I want to talk about. And that's also preparing for the end. It's what can we do now politically, as voters, as the body, as the majority of humans on earth? How can we be active, and how can we speak up, and how can we be noticed non-violently, and do what we can to move our political candidates to the things we actually care about. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. Feared Horizon says, I'm excited for the channel. The ideas sound like fun topics. I think they'll be fun. I think it'll be fun. I hope it's fun. I genuinely believe it will be a fun channel. It'll be a lot different than... It'll be dark to prepare for the dark. Yeah, exactly. It will be dark, but hopefully it'll be fun. I genuinely think it will be fun. And I'm going to try to just let my hair down a little bit more when I'm talking about God specifically, right? I got to be super careful about every single thing I say. When I'm talking about what axe to buy, or what saw to use, or what water filter to use, I can, it's not the end of the world if I misspeak on something. You know what I mean? And I can always make a follow-up video and go, I don't know why I said that about the thing, that you just do this instead, not that thing instead. You get what I mean? Like, it's just a lot easier, lighter, not soul damning content. Anyways, I'm going to let you guys go. I love this conversation. Thanks for the Q&A. And I love the questions. Every single one that got asked, every single one I loved and was really important. And I think the day has already come, in my humble opinion, where Christians need to stop being eggshell tiptoers. You know what I mean? Like, it's got to stop. Like, Christians need to be like, no, we're humans. We have our faith. We have our ideas. We have our voices, and they're going to be heard. Like, I genuinely believe that, like it's got to be talked about more. It's got to be spoken about more. The boldness without being mean. And hopefully I ask for forgiveness if I seemed mean to anybody tonight. But I also know that, time is running out. So don't see it as mean, but see it as your brother on the front lines of a battle and war saying, come on, you can do this. Maybe I slap you in the face, but just to snap you out of the shock, the shell shock, So with that, hopefully you guys have the link. Hopefully you're over there at Elevated Prep. Be blessed and be the blessing. I love you, and Yeshua loves you even more. And you guys make this ministry happen. So I thank every single one of you who support it with your content that you write, the questions you ask, the participation you have, and the donations you make. I will never be able to thank you enough for it. So thank you very much. Have a good night, guys.